As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome, everyone, to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. It is Friday, October 11th. And, boys, you know, yesterday we had our watch party for the Tigers. Got to Caleb. He was great. He was absolutely dialed in yesterday. They lost. Tough loss. We got Game 5 tomorrow in Cleveland, which we will be doing a watch party as well. But how are we feeling? The doubleheader in Detroit, you know, it didn't age as well as we hoped it would, huh? It just
Hunk looks beat.
Yeah,
He's defeated right now. I'm not
well,
gonna
it definitely was a long night, and we were defeated. But obviously, the Red Wings loss doesn't mean as much as the Tigers loss. It would have been good to see them close it out. But the environment itself at the Tigers game was amazing. Detroit fans showed out, and I'm sure it was, you know, the same way at the Red Wings game. Obviously, a little dimmer down, but they made some noise at Comerica Park. It was sad they couldn't close it out, but definitely, I have some confidence in Tariq School tomorrow, so we're good.
Thank God.
Well, I mean, all right, real quick. The fact that Jeff is putting more account and talking more about the Red Wings loss than what's happening with the Detroit Tigers is absolutely Gentry. I want to
try to take a victory lap, Boone.
Yeah,
already.
We have a team. No. I don't want to hear anything right now, Jeff. We have a team right now in the ALDS fighting for a chance to go to the conference championship, and you're over there just like, oh, those Red Wings, man. How about you take a back seat, huh? Sit back for a little bit. You look a little shook over there. Hey, how about them Tigers? I don't care if they lost. You gotta, night off of the Wings because the Tigers are, big game tomorrow, Don't listen to this guy.
So here's the thing, all right? I'm telling the people, and they already know, but what happened? All right, I didn't say anything more than that. Tough loss, but it means more for the Tigers. It stinks because if you won yesterday, you would have Skubal for Game 1 of the ALCS. Now he's going to play tomorrow, and he won't be there for Game 1 of the ALCS. But yeah, I still have confidence they're going to win. We talked about it before. It just these clutch plays that just happen. They had these opportunities to capitalize, and they just didn't. And more than that, you got some injuries. Kerry Carpenter, Jake Rogers, not ideal, but the best part of it all is Tariq Skubal will be on the mound tomorrow. So at least you got that going for you. You just got to score. What would you say? Get 2-3 runs, and you're winning that baseball game.
2 runs, you win it. 2 runs, you win.
So that's the good news. The bad news is Jake Rogers, Kerry Carpenter, Kerry Bonds, as some would say, he is dealing with what was it? A hamstring? It looked like. I couldn't tell when we watched the broadcast, but
yeah,
that's a tough loss. But
I think Jake Rogers is going to be good too. I was on Twitter a couple hours ago, and he did an interview, and he said I think he got hit in the hand a couple times, and they did X-rays. Everything came back negative, and he's like, I'm good to go tomorrow. So Jake Rogers is good, maybe a little beat up. The Kerry Carpenter thing is the one they're still doing tests. It's a hamstring situation, and those are always like difficult. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, hopefully he's able to go. He probably wasn't going to start the game anyways tomorrow. But just in case you needed him for, you know, if a certain pitcher goes in, then you're able to kind of go that way. We saw it a couple days ago when he came in and hit that bomb in the 8th or the 9th. So I don't know. I think they're going to be fine, honestly. And Gentry, I would love to know what you're like. I think like you have Skubal on the mound. You're the best pitcher in the world on the mound. Like, you're in literally the best. I don't care if you're on the road or anything. You have the best opportunity possible. You're favored to win the game. There's been rumors. I don't know if it's. I just heard before the show that there's people around the city of Detroit who are on live airwaves who think the Tigers are going to lose, and it's not. They're such a. Those people, they're not real. They're not. Don't listen to those people.
Who is it, Boone? Call them out. Who's saying the Tigers are going to lose?
I don't know if I want to give these people credit or free advertising on our airwaves. If you guys want to say it, you guys can. Me, though, like, those are people who they always take the opposite of the trend so they can get more clicks and more views, which I guess, hey, that's the business we're in. But let's start being honest. The Tigers are going to win tomorrow. They have the best opportunity to win tomorrow, and they're going to get the job done. I'm not worried. If you want to say who it is, these people, they just get away with anything in this city because they were just here longer than some people. They just been here longer than me. They've been here longer than you. That's all they get. They're just, hey, I've been here. It was like, never mind. Sell down. All right. Go ahead, boys.
No, well, I mean, anyone who thinks the Tigers are going to lose must not be a real fan of the team, or at least not rooting for them. I think last night they showed many signs. Obviously, the pitching kind of broke down late in the game, but they left so many runners in scoring position. Obviously, that's kind of been a common theme through this playoff run. But when you have Tarek Skubal on the mound, obviously, a lot of your team's going to have that utmost confidence, and it is very big that Jake Rogers coming back. Someone already said it in the chat. I forget who it was, but he's caught all of his games this year. That's Tarek Skubal's catcher. So, and he's been pretty great at the plate thus far too. So to get Jake Rogers back is huge. But like you said, Boone, you got the best pitcher in all of the MLB on the mound tomorrow. There's no better spot for you in this team. So the bats, you stay consistent, you get a couple runs in, you're going to have Tarek backing you up. So I think they're in good hands too.
What's the odds right now? I didn't check for them. Are they their favorites tomorrow?
They are.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just say it. I mean, I was listening Valeni and Rico today.
Okay.
Valeni, and shout out to Rico, by the way. I know people don't like him, but it's I got a personal connection with him, so I can't really. I'm a little biased. But Valeni said it. He's as confident in a victory as basically a coin flip. So he says, whatever your confidence level is when you flip a coin and say heads or tails, that's his confidence level.
Sounds clearly like a weak way out.
I think, I think with Tarek Skubal on the mound, it's a little different. Like I'm very confident just because he's there. Like I said, would you have liked to win tomorrow or yesterday? Obviously, because then you have them game one of the ALCS. But at the end of the day, man, just win the series. And they played really well on the road. And Tariq, the last time they played in Cleveland, he was chirping at the crowd a little bit, he's doing the shush. Like he gets fired up with that. I think he might play a little better on the road just because he's got that dog in him, even though they were letting him hear it a little bit. But I still think they're going to win that game. I think it, like we talked about earlier. I mean, you score 3 runs, you're walking away with a victory.
Yeah.
So that's just how it's.
I don't know how you say it's a coin flip when you have the best pitcher in the MLB on the mound. Obviously, Matthew Boyd pitched well last game, and he's pitched fairly well throughout the whole season. But to say it's a coin flip when you have the best pitcher on the mound that's been locking down this team, and you've seen what he did last game just in Cleveland throughout the whole playoffs, throughout the whole season, to say it's a coin flip when he's on the mound, I just don't agree with that.
I mean, guys, if
it is going to be a closer game throughout the whole thing. I don't think anyone's pulling away by any means. Sorry, Boone, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to say it's a coin flip when you have Tarek Skubal on the mound, I don't know.
I mean, you could put Tarek Skubal on any team in the worst team in baseball or not. You're probably going to be close to a favorite just because you're going to be able to hold that team probably while he's on the mound to maybe 1 run. Like that, maybe 2. It's like if you get 3 runs, you're almost guaranteed to win. Like that's essentially what it is. So the coin flip thing, that feels like a little bit of an easy to me. To me, it might feel like a little bit of a hey, no matter what happens, I could say I was a little right here. I told you so. If they win, like, hey, I was right. I told you guys it was a coin flip. It could have gone your way, and it did. Oh, if they lose, I told you guys it could have lost. So that easy. That pick a side. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but pick a side there. The Tigers are going to have but they have the best opportunity. If you're Cleveland, I think that was one of the biggest reasons too. Like, they don't want to go into this game versus Skubal. Like, they're looking at this and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is brutal for them. No team in baseball wants to go up against Tarek Skubal.
No, not right. No.
Season on the line too. And obviously the game got moved from 8 to 1. It's actually been moved like a few times. Are you guys happy about that? Or I preferred that the game went on at 8 o'clock, obviously the prime time slot. And then, you kind of watch it through the night, but 1 p.m. start. Thoughts on that, boys?
I personally prefer it because I'm going to be dialed into Oregon, Ohio State, which is at what time? Oh, yeah. That's at like
7 or 8 as well.
So I'm a college football guy. I like it because then I can go watch Tigers and then jump right into Ohio State, Oregon. So that's me, but I get it. I mean, people, especially Saturday night, you go out, go get some food, watch the Tigers. So I guess I don't mind either answer. But for me personally, I would say I'm okay with it. I'm cool with 1 o'clock.
Hey, 7:30. If the Tigers started at 8, it doesn't matter. Sorry, Lucas. The Tigers trump watching Ohio State, Oregon any day of the week. So.
Oh, for sure. Especially in the position that it is. Like, yeah.
Look at his face. He said, okay. All right. That 2 and 3 matchup.
The biggest game of the year after what the Wolverines are looking like right now. Okay.
We didn't bring up Michigan. Of course,
we're talking about Ohio State. And the Tigers.
Of course, Ohio State guy gets very self-conscious or whatever that word is and brings up Michigan. We never brought up Michigan. It was the Tigers.
Let's say rent-free, Lucas.
I'm just saying it's going to be the best matchup of the year.
What did Michigan have to do with any of that?
Because normally it's Ohio State, Michigan.
But we were talking about Michigan or Ohio State, Oregon.
Exactly. And I said, why would I miss it? It's the best matchup of the year. Normally it's Ohio State versus Michigan.
Oh, okay.
But
you are right about that.
Hey, Gentry, rent free down there. Rent free.
We'll push that narrative.
Alex Orgy is not rent free. I
can own so many hotels.
JT
Tuttle. That head over there.
A lot of real estate.
Jay
Tuttle. I'm glad you guys could finally get one. You finally got one. We got 2 in the last time that you guys got one before then. It's all right.
Hey, congrats, man. So
college football. We'll do our pick'ems later, but good week for college football, man. Tomorrow's packed. There's some good games on tomorrow. Great games. I mean, you have Texas, Oklahoma. You got, like we said, Oregon.
Not even a big game.
But hey, for college football lovers,
no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
good
Penn State, USC. Can I interest you?
Was it
Penn State, USC?
That could be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Ole Miss, LSU. Another good one. So there's some decent ones out there.
Fucking breaks off LSU.
Well, we do have a special guest joining the program, and he does join occasionally. He does great work. And shout out Corey Woods, man. Always joins the show. He's busy, covering the Detroit Pistons right now. Bet it's just an exciting time. Just an exciting time. You just get to cover the Detroit Pistons, and he's doing a great job. By the way, check him out, mlive.com. And he when he's not covering the Pistons, he's helping out with Lions coverage as well. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Corey Woods. Let's get him in here, Corey. How you doing, my man?
What up, though?
Hey, Corey. So I gotta ask you this, and I do want to pick your brain a little about the Pistons after this because you've been doing a great job covering them. But just for this weekend, big rematch for the Lions. Were your early thoughts with this matchup? I know no Micah, no DeMarcus Lawrence. Opportunity for the Lions to get revenge. What do you think?
I mean, there's also no Kendricks, too, if I'm not mistaken. So, I believe this is a really big opportunity for the Lions to go ahead and snap that losing streak against the Cowboys. I believe they've lost the past 6 matchups against them. And, every time they go against the Cowboys, it's something different, them versus, Lions versus the Cowboys and the referees, as we all know. So, I believe that this is the chance that the Lions will go ahead and get that monkey off their back. They have the better team. They have a high-powered offense. The Lions are also the mission. And also, too, you have to look at the landscape of the division right now. The Minnesota Vikings are 5-0, something that everybody predicted. And so the Lions have to go ahead right now and, take that stranglehold. I won't say take a stranglehold. That was incorrect terminology. They need to go ahead and improve the 4-1 so that eventually down the line they can get a stranglehold in the division. Because, the way the Vikings looking right now, dare I say Sam Darnold's playing MVP-esque football. So I think this is a good chance for them. They got a running back tandem of Gibbs and Montgomery. Almost sounds like a law firm, and they're going to go ahead and get the job done. And that's who I'm going to be really looking at shouldering this offensive load. Not to say that Jared Goff can't go out there and do the dang thing, but Gibbs and Montgomery, they've been really powering this Lions season so far. And I think as long as they continue to stick with that run game and put that on their back, that would take some of the pressure off of Jared Goff, open up the play action pass, and then boom, they're home cooking. The only thing I will say that worries me is the Lions secondary. I believe Terrion Arnold leads the league in pass interference calls. And he's a rookie, things happen, but hopefully with having the bye week, they were able to get some of that stuff under control and clean it up.
Yeah, Corey, I just want to kind of stick with the defense there in the AG defense. I do want to get your pick your brain a little bit on what's going on with that defense, because obviously the Seahawks game, the first 3 weeks of defense, they showed good flashes of being very, very good and taking a step forward. And then the Seahawks situation, there was some holes you could see, like, all right, maybe there's some improvements that need to be made. What are your thoughts on, like, where does that need to be improved? Because in Dallas, obviously they don't have the best run game right now, but it's a lot of CeeDee Lamb and a lot of pass game with Dak. And obviously that was like the thing with the corners right now. What are your thoughts on this defense going into Dallas? What needs to get fixed? What do you think is going to look good as well?
I just think I think first off, the defense needs to play mistake-free football, especially in that secondary. You can't get too handsy out there. You can't be grabbing on guys. Go ahead and just play mistake-free football to the best of your abilities. Now, you're going against a guy like CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a tough assignment because he's one of the top 5, top 3, wherever you want to place him, receivers in the league. So that's going to be a difficult challenge for him, for Arnold and Carlton Davis. But the other thing that they really need to do is get out to a hot start on defense and kind of lock up early. Here's the thing about this defense. We have seen them go out and make the great second half adjustments. They made some solid second half adjustments, but they start out kind of slow, and they're letting guys get in the red zone and take advantage of them. And I think that if you allow Dak Prescott in a game that he really needs to win, and he has a guy like CeeDee Lamb, and then they're playing at home, and things can get a little crazy in Jerry world, they need to go ahead and get out to a hot start and demoralize them and just not get in that, play mistake-free football. That's basically what it is for me.
Spot on, Corey. And one thing that I definitely think the Lions need to be able to do to limit the big plays down the field is get after Dak Prescott. What do you expect when you look at this Dallas offensive line? It's probably the best offensive line. I don't even think it's definitely the best offensive line this front seven has faced. Who do you expect outside of Aiden Hutchinson to make plays on this defensive line?
That is a really good question. Because they're down Marcus Davenport, so it's going to take some guys to go ahead and step up. I'm expecting DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil to cause some pressure in that interior to be able to kind of let Aiden get do the damn thing and do what he has to do. Josh Pascal, he has to go ahead and step up as well. They're going to have some guys step up with Marcus Davenport out, because up until his injury, he was having a solid season opposite Aiden. So that's what I'm going to be looking at, that interior.
Yeah, and Corey, obviously the Lions are getting Frank Ragnow back for this matchup. Just speak to the impact that he could have in his first game back. Obviously, he had some time to rest up over the bye, and he's going to be playing a sort of beat up already Dallas defensive line. So just speak on the impact and how important it is to get Frank Ragnow back for this matchup.
Well, it all depends on where his health is at, but you're getting back an all-pro center, one of your anchors of your offensive line, and a cap, and one of their leaders and one of those captains. So it's huge. And the thing is, if Frank is healthy, I don't think Frank is going to go out there if he's not healthy. We already saw Dan Campbell talking about Frank Ragnow, a punch him in the chest, almost putting him through a wall. So if you and I think people need to understand this, and I think we already know this, Dan is a very massive human being. So for Frank Ragnow with a pectoral injury to be able to move Dan Campbell, that is a good sign.
Yeah.
So as long as Frank is good to go, I think it's just good for that line, and for having the guy out there with that experience and just overall morale.
Corey, and I'll just ask you, because you've been locked in covering the Detroit Pistons. They're in their preseason right now. And I think the important part of this whole thing is the way Ivy's been playing, specifically shooting well from three. I know it's preseason, but I'll ask you, man, we know what Cade is. You know what kind of player he is, but just observing this team, who's another player that you think will be a pretty big X factor in kind of propelling this team to achieving that 30-win goal, 28-win goal? I know it sounds ridiculous, but who's kind of another player besides Cade you're looking at to kind of step up this year? Could be Ivy or Duren, but who's in your mind to step up?
Well, the guys that I'm going to be looking at to step up are two of the veterans that they signed, Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley. First off, the thing that people have to understand about Tobias Harris is, yeah, he's a little bit older, but you're still getting a guy that is probably your second or third best shooter on the team right now. And he's a veteran. He's come in, every young player on this team has already talked about the work that he's been putting in with him, from Cade and Jaden Ivey to even undrafted rookies like Tolu Smith. Before Tolu even got into a training camp facility, he said that he was already getting in workouts with Tobias Harris. And in his own words, how many rookies are able to get in work with their veterans before they even get into training camp? That says a lot that all these young players are listening to Tobias, buying into him, and the fact that he's willing to step up and be in this leadership role. So I think that is going to be one big thing. Another thing is Malik Beasley. You're getting a guy that is a very good three-point shooter. He's a guy that's going to help with your spacing. Another guy that is going to be one of your top 3 shooters. I mean, you're going to – and I'm thinking the shooters are going like in no order: Tobias, Malik, and then Cade, and then, you know, kind of – and Fontecchio, got to throw him up there, and then you can kind of mix in everybody else. So those are 2 guys I'm going to be looking at. I mean, they had veterans last year with Bogdanovich and Alec Burks that they contributed in spurts. I believe these are guys that are going to be able to contribute in much bigger than just a quick spurts or bursts. They're going to be all throughout the fabric of this offense so far. From what I've been seeing now, we haven't seen Tobias touch the floor yet. So you know, the Pistons play the Suns tonight in Phoenix. He's been cleared from COVID. Maybe we'll see him touch the floor and see how he mixes into rotation. But I've seen Malik Beasley out there already, and just some of the work he's been doing with Cade on the floor, Cade and all the other guys, being able to have a guy that you can throw the ball to, he can catch and knock down an open jumper, something that the Pistons did not have last year. That's big.
Hey, Corey, with all of that and the whole Pistons growth and this whole new regime in there, I just want to know, kind of being in the building and being around the team a little bit, the whole JB Bickerstaff hire, how has that felt in there with the culture? Or do things feel a little bit different? Like, hey, there's a corner, like we're turning a corner here, or it looks a little different than it has in the past. How does this whole new regime feel now with the new season coming ahead?
This feels different. I'm just going to say it feels different.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say, hey, these guys are going to the playoffs. These guys are going to you know, a first round win or something like that. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that the players are in a system with the coaching staff, with pieces around them that they can buy into. It appears guys are happy to be there. You have a Jaden Ivey who it seems like his confidence is restored, working with JB Bickerstaff, working with Fred Vinson. After practices from what I've been able to see, Fred Vinson is specifically working with Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson on their shot, from the hand placement and the release to catch and shoot drills, perimeter drills. And that's why you're seeing right now, over a small sample size, but in those first 2 games, Ivey's shooting 57% from the floor and 3-point. Now, again, that's preseason, but if you compare that to his previous preseasons, that is still off the charts compared to that. He was shooting around the 30% in those preseasons. So small sample size, but even Ivey says that he's been cleaning up my jumper. We've been putting in the work. Now you got this guy. Now you got your top one, your number 5 pick from a couple of years ago. You have his confidence restored. You have a Jalen Duren who's bought into everything that he's going to be doing. You have Isaiah Stewart that is happy that he's going to be moving back to the 5 when they were trying to convert him into a stretch 4 last year over the past couple of seasons, something that is not really one of his strong suits. Isaiah Stewart is a guy that can either be your starter or backup center, and a guy that is good at getting in the post on both ends of the court, grabbing rebounds and getting dirty buckets. So it seems everybody is bought in, and also to the fact that the coaching staff is doing their best to use guys the way that they're best to utilize and not try to over micromanage them.
And the guy, you kind of spoke about him a little bit, but talk about Jalen Duren. You talk about Ivey's development and improvement, especially last year. Like Duren defensively, he had lapses where it was just really bad. And that was one of the core reasons you wanted a guy like Jalen Duren, why you trade for him. What do you think we should expect out of him this year after getting JB Bickerstaff and just the whole culture change in Detroit?
Well, I think JB Bickerstaff worked with a couple of good bigs out in Cleveland with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. You brought Sidney Lowe over, who was known for his work with big men. So the one thing that you can hope is that over these next couple of preseason games, and I would say over these first few weeks of the regular season, is that Duren turns into more of a low post threat on the defensive side. I mean, we know the guy can grab rebounds, but I think the next elevation of his game is just going to be, turning into a shot blocker, being a guy that can really get up in the grills and take on the likes of guys like a Karl Anthony Towns or Joel Embiid, guys that can work in the post. That's going to be the next elevation for his game. Hopefully for Pistons fans, they'll be able to see that in the early couple of weeks. But I believe that it's going to be a change, and that work that Bickerstaff has working with Allen and Mobley, that should translate over to here.
Yeah, and Corey, obviously, Cade Cunningham got paid over the summer. What are your expectations for him? Is this finally going to be a season that we see Cade kind of take that leap, maybe an all-star type leap? Just speak on the expectations you have for him.
I would say I don't know if it's going to be all-star leap, because we got to temper your expectations. This is the team that has not won 23 games in a season since 2019. So you don't want to just say out the blue a guy's going to turn into an all-star, but Cade has all-star. Look at Jonathan's face already. But this is a guy that has all-star talent, and you've surrounded him with the one thing that he has lacked his entire time in the league, and that's shooting. And even Doc Rivers said it before the preseason opener. He said the problem with this Pistons team is that they didn't have any shooting, and that's a recipe for disaster in the NBA right now. So now you got some shooters around him. You're going to be able to see what Cade Cunningham can really do as a facilitator, and probably even more as a scorer, because he's not going to be double teamed all the time.
Yep. There you go. Great job, Corey, doing your thing. By the way, if you're not following Corey already, he's going to be covering the Pistons this season. Hey, hopefully covering a Pistons team. Hey, can we just get close to 30? Can we just give me 29, 20, 28, maybe even 30 piece? I'll take it. That's improvement. That's improvement. I don't know if Pistons fans like expecting 30 wins as like a big celebration. But
don't say that to Isaiah Thomas.
Yep, that's he don't like that. I know. It's crazy how the where we are in 2024. But keep up the great work, Corey. I appreciate it as always, man. Hitting me back quickly and joining the program, dude. You're the man. And keep up the great work. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot.
There you go. Corey Woods, mlive.com. Check out his work. Does great work. Covering both the Pistons and the Lions. Now more so the Pistons. But like you said about this game on Sunday, important game, one of the bigger games of the year, given the rematch, and you're getting some players back. I know Dan Campbell gave an update on Kirby Joseph, who actually yesterday, I know we were doing the Tigers watch party, but a couple of hours before that, Kirby Joseph injured his hamstring in practice. So he practiced today. I don't know. You might have seen something, Boone. Did they give an update on how he practiced? They didn't put anything out, I don't think, if he's going to be a full go on Sunday.
No, there has been no news.
I didn't see anything. So
they said in the press conference that he was practicing today. They feel good about it, and they'll know after practice. But the only thing is, like with that, it's like media can only see a certain part of practice, and then after that, we'll know tomorrow, or maybe around. I would say maybe around like noon or 1 o'clock tomorrow. The game stuff comes out to where they'll say who's in, who's out. And we'll figure that out tomorrow, or they'll, the questionable, doubtful, all of that comes out tomorrow. So we'll know more with Kirby. The thing with the Kirby Joseph, it's like I feel like we've been waiting to see Kirby and Brian Branch like 100% together, and we just haven't really gotten it yet. Especially like I think maybe week 1 we did, but then they're like both like have been just beat up, concussion. Now Kirby and like Brian Branch misses a game with the with the sickness. So it's just like I would love to see this duo just 100%, especially in Dallas. Like they can't run the ball really. They don't have any running backs, so it's like they're just going to be passing the ball the whole time with Dak. You need Kirby and Brian Branch. Like this is a game where you would love to have both of those guys healthy. So I hope it's not that big of a deal. It's just weird. Like it happens at practice, comes out of nowhere. Like, I always hate those injuries. It's brutal.
Yeah, the good news, I have an update Tim put out, at least for the injury report, and I'll put this up for you guys. Shout out to Tim Twentyman for this. But you see at the top here, Christian Mahogany, full practice all week, but he is out. And which, that's how it goes. He's not on game day. But Brian Branch, full practice, that's great. He was out last week, or I guess not the bye week, but you get what I'm saying, the Seahawks game. Kirby Joseph had a limited practice Thursday, and then today full practice. So that's great news. And then, of course, Frank Ragnow, full practice. So look at the Cowboys. I mean, this is a lot they're dealing with. Eric Kendricks, no practice all week. He's ruled out. Micah Parsons ruled out. You had Duran Bland, who went through a full practice, had no practice today. He's questionable. And then Trevon Diggs he didn't practice on Thursday, but he's not ruled out. Same with Zach Martin. So they're dealing with some injuries. I know Tyler Guyton, their rookie from Oklahoma, he practiced this week. So at least as of right now, no Micah, no Eric, and I believe DeMarcus Lawrence is on IR. I think so. He's already out. And then Duran Bland, who's been out at this time, he is questionable, which is honestly huge. He does give up plays, but that dude is a ball hawk. So Cowboys are dealing with a lot. And the Lions are the healthier team. Even if Kirby, let's say, does not play, I mean, it's not good, but they are the healthiest they've been since the start of the year. I mean, they just are. They're the healthier team. They're the better team. They're on the road, and I believe they're favorited on the road. So, I mean, Derek Barnes, though, we did get an update. Dan said he'd be shocked if he came back this year, which, does kind of stink. But I guess your boy Trevor Nowaski is the next in line. I guess that would be yeah, that would be. He's next up.
Hey, let's go, Trevor.
And they started. Dan was gassing him up a little bit. So
they need a Sam linebacker with no Derek Barnes. And hey, maybe
I don't think he's coming back until maybe the best case, the playoffs. I mean, that's the best case. He's probably out the entire year.
Even that's probably limited.
Yeah. So. Not good, Derek Barnes. It's crazy but again, compared to what other teams are dealing with, the Lions are in a better position at this point. I mean, they just are.
I mean, the injury report, you have those guys on IR, Derek Barnes and Marcus Davenport, but outside of that, like everyone's healthy. Like those, you don't want the Marcus Davenport injury. You don't want those injuries, but everyone else is healthy. Like you have no one outside of Kirby that's really going through anything. It's like if you compare those two, Dallas versus ours. Like, yeah, they have a lot of guys who are playing, but look at all of those guys at the bottom. There's like 10 guys that are on the injury report who are limited practice or practice, and they're going to play, but they're just going through stuff. So like that's like and to be honest, coming off a bye, like you would expect that. Like you would expect, like Frank had that injury, like you're like, all right, get back. Brian Branch had the illness, all right, get back. Like concussion with Anzo, like make sure you guys are all getting healthy through the bye week. Like that's what the bye week's for. And honestly, like looking at the schedule a little bit more, when you're this healthy, seeing the next 5 games, you have the Packers, the Texans, the Vikings, the Cowboys, and I'm missing another team, but like the next 5 games are tough. So it's like the bye week came at a good time to where it's like, let's get healthy for those next 5 games. So it might be the toughest stretch of football you play all year.
I mean, do you guys get a sense of this game? I see people talking in the chat, and I think Slappy 313 brought it up. I think it'll be a close game. He expects a boxing match, and he also brought up before, I don't care how many injuries the Cowboys have, stop falling into this trap. The Rams have had injuries, the Bucs had injuries, the Cardinals had injuries. They all gave the Lions hell. What's like your early expectation of how this game's going to go? We'll get into our game score predictions later, but confidence level right now, I guess on Friday, where are you guys at with it?
I mean, mine's sky high. I understand like the teams that we're talking about, like they had injuries, but they also had very good running backs. You look at Kyron Williams and James Conner, like they had running backs that could at least get the ball going because the teams seemed to do that before. They have an offensive identity. Cam Newton was saying it on ESPN earlier too, and I thought it was a very good point. Like the Dallas Cowboys offensively do not know what the hell their identity is. When you have that and you cannot run the ball against the Detroit Lions offense and you can make Dak Prescott sit back there 45, 50 times, he does that a lot. But that's not something any quarterback can win successfully doing. And when you have, hopefully, Kirby Joseph, but even Brian Branch, most importantly, you have Aiden Hutchinson, the amount of pressure that he is going to be under, DJ Reader, Lee McNeil. And I'm not even trying to sound like a Lions fan here, but I just simply do not see a path for the Dallas Cowboys to win outside of like Cavante, this sounds stupid, but if Cavante Turpin has a huge return or like Ames is constantly setting up Dallas and Dak Prescott in short field position, that is the only way I could see them doing that. Like it would have to be a 3-phase game for Dallas. And I don't see them winning offensively or defensively. I can see Cavante Turpin making plays because he does that almost every game for the team, but I just don't see it happening, especially no Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, no, I agree with Lucas. I think obviously we're going to control the game a lot on the ground. Getting Frank back against this team is going to be huge. Already beat up defensive line, like I already mentioned to Corey. The big thing for me is someone is obviously going to have to get home outside of Aiden Hutchinson. You're going to have to be pressuring Dak all game. The connection with CeeDee Lamb is going to be there no matter what. It's just how much can you limit it? You know, Dak's going to be throwing the ball like 40 to 50 times with how bad their run game is. He'll probably try and get Rico Dowdle involved in more of the pass game since they won't be running. So it's going to be kind of big on who's going to cover him as a linebacker, who's stepping up. I think obviously Jake Ferguson's going to make some sort of an impact too with us being beat up at linebacker. But I think the key to I'm very confident in the Lions winning this game for sure. I think obviously they've dropped a few to this, and Jared Goff even spoke on this and how they're kind of fired up to go in there and get a win. And Jared Goff coming off a perfect game, I think you don't get too cute with the offense. You maintain the ground game, and then when it's time to throw, it's time to throw. You've seen when you kind of set Jared Goff up for that, how well he can do. So don't make him do too much. Control the game on the ground. I think the Lions are winning.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this Dallas Cowboys team. I mean, offensively, they're number 2 in the league in passing offense and 31st in rushing offense. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what their path to victory is. It's going to be the secondary in this pass rush specifically, because Dak's going to drop back. I mean, I would say, 35, 40, 45 times. Like, you're going to need Aiden to be Aiden. And not just him, but you're going to need some guys to step up and help him out. Like Aleem McNeil, like Corey said, Aleem and DJ Reader, but even maybe a Josh Pascal. Like, I think this pass rush, this defense is really going to be important. But I think in terms of like, how do you stop? Because I guess that's where we'll transition, like the matchup there with Dak and CD. Like, guys, it's pass rush and it's taking the ball away. Like, it's Kirby playing and Brian Branch and Carlton Davis and whoever's guarding CD Lamb. So, you know, that's I think the most important thing this week. And like the offense, I'm not too concerned about. Like, we know what they are, but fellas, this pass rush and secondary, like that they're gonna have to show up on the road.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I would say if I had to give like a confidence level, probably like a 15 out of 10.
Oh, super confident then.
I would say, The only thing that like gets me is like if their pass offense is what you said, second in the NFL, the Lions, I think pass defense, if I have it right, looking here, it's 27th. So it's like that's probably the only concern. I just think like, dude, to beat this Lions team, you have to be able to control the clock, and you have to be able to run the ball and kind of stick with that. That's where I think it's good. They're going to struggle a little bit, to where it's like the Lions are just going to pound the rock with David Montgomery. They're going to pound the rock with Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to find ways for Amon-Ra to get open. And then randomly you're going to get hit with the Jambo. And I don't think the Dallas defense is ready for it. Like, they're still beat up. Micah's out. Like, being that beat up last week, they went through – they should have lost to the Steelers. The Steelers don't have an offense. Like, they just don't. They don't – like, there's not – if you watch that game, you're like, this is an NFL offense. They have a defense. And that's the only reason they're in the game. But – if they had any sort of life on offense, they win that game by 2 touchdowns. And the Lions are essentially playing the same football team. Maybe they're getting back a couple guys. They're essentially playing the same football team as the Steelers did last week, and they're that much better than the Steelers. They're a Super Bowl contending team that has probably the best offense in the NFL. So I don't see Dallas being able to even slow down this Lions offense. I don't care if it's in Dallas. I don't care if the refs are on their side. Like, my confidence level for this game might be the highest it's been all season long. And I'll stand on that. There might be people in the chat who are like, well, the injuries, like we've seen injuries with these other teams and this, and they still struggle. Like, no, coming off of a bye, first of all, and number 2, Ben Johnson, this offense finally got things clicking. What do we say all year long? As soon as they get things clicking and Ben figures this thing out, there's no way this team is unstoppable. And if this defense, if AG can figure out the secondary and stop him, like, you're going to give stuff up. We saw it last year. CD torched us last year, and you were still you still should have won that game. Like, you just got hosed. So I'm my confidence level 15 out of 10. Like, it's on. Hey, they're not losing this football game. It's not happening. It will not happen. I can't see a world where you play the team that we saw in Pittsburgh last week, and you play just play your game. Like, you don't even have to try anything crazy. Just go run the ball, get a couple stops, force a couple turnovers, and you come out of Dallas with an easy win, and you can move on to Minnesota and start focusing on Minnesota. That's that. Like, there's no way they stop the run. There's no way they stop this run, especially with a guy like Micah out too.
Mm-hmm. That's the path. I mean, the Dak CD matchup, fellas, like that's going to be interesting. Secondary, like you kind of put, Boone. I don't want to say they're not good. Like, they have talent. It's just, for whatever reason, they're 27th in the league. I mean, most of it's early, so some of these stats are skewed a little bit.
Yeah.
But they have talent. It's not like that. Carlton Davis is a good corner. Terran's a good corner. They have great safeties, but that's like their path. Like, if I had to give you a confidence level, I'm going to be honest, out of 10, like 10 being the most confident, I'm probably like an 8. Like, I'm confident, but I think Dallas can make this a game. Honestly, I think Dallas has more of an opportunity, especially both of these games are on the road. I think Dallas has more of an opportunity to make this a game than I believe the Cardinals did. Like, but Cardinals was higher for me, beating the Cardinals. I was more confident in that. Like, just because Dak's better, I think, than Kyler, and CD's better right now than Marvin. So, like, in terms of their path, because both teams can't run the ball. The Lions aren't going to allow them to run the ball.
Yeah.
That's where
I just think with that, though, Jeff, it's like with the Cowboys, though, at least for me, it's like for this game, it's like the only way you can lose this game is if it's like you do it to yourself. Like, I just don't see a way to where if you just play your own game, you put your head down and just do what you got to do. Like, just like if Ben Johnson would have to like call 50 passes again for you to lose this game. Like, have you literally just like, if you shoot yourself in the foot, that's the only way you lose this game. It would be nothing that Dallas does that steps up. Like, Dak could go out there and throw for 350. We're still going to run the ball down your throat, and we're going to still run for 200 rushing yards because they're like the 25th or 23rd or something worst rush defense in the NFL. So, like, we're just going to run down your face the whole time, and, like, you're not going to be able to get the ball as much as you want. You could throw for 350 yards. We're going to have 2 more possessions than you, and we're going to control the whole clock. Like, if you just have that mindset, like, at least with the Cardinals game, like, there were struggles. You could tell that the Lions had some struggles, and it's like, all right, you go in there a little questioning, like, the Lions can beat themselves. Like, they did it versus the Bucks, and like, you can't let Kyler Murray hurt you because he can run a little bit. Like, Dak can't do that as much anymore since that injury that he had. The defense is beat up. It's a different Dallas team to where it's like, dude, you control your own destiny going into this game. Hey, Dan Campbell, listen to me real quick. You're my guy. Just don't try anything crazy. Just play your game and you get an easy win. That's how I feel about this game. I usually, and you guys know me, I'm usually nervous for Lions games, especially like a Cowboys game on the road. Should be like extremely nervous because we haven't won since like 2013 or something like that. So it's like I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know why I'm so confident in this game. Do not know.
Does it make you less nervous that knowing like Jared Goff and a few of the players have spoke on it, that they kind of have like a chip on their shoulder, especially after last year and how it all boiled down? Does that kind of weigh into it?
A little bit. I mean, I do think like it's good knowing that they still have that on their mind a little bit to really, like we need to go win. We need to prove something here. I do think that takes into account to where it's like they're that much more locked in. Like Dan usually has them locked in, but games like this, and I think it'll be the same thing with Minnesota next week because they're 5-0. I think like like, hey, we're going into next week. It's like, hey, this is like an NFC North championship game essentially. Like, I think these guys, that chip, and Dan Campbell teams with a chip on their shoulder, they usually don't lose football games.
Yeah, and the Lions right now, they're usually the team, the team at least heading into the season that was supposed to be the team to catch. And right now, you kind of just spoke about it, but the Vikings are the team to catch. So the Lions, not only do they have the chip on the shoulder, like, oh, we got to get back for last year against Dallas, but they have to win and get in front in the NFC North. So if you lose against Dallas this week, you're now going to be 2 games behind because Minnesota's going to be undefeated. They're not going to play this week on a bye. And then you got to go in there, and if you could potentially drop 3, that's an even tougher uphill battle to fight. And potentially if you look at the Packers right now too, like, and even the Bears, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, and that's probably going to be a win for them. The NFC North is good. So in order to stay in the line to win the NFC North, you have to win the games like this against the Dallas Cowboys.
Who do the Packers face? They got the Texans. Oh, no, not the Texans. They're on a bye? Are they on a bye?
No, they don't.
Next week, sorry. Who are they facing?
No, they're not on a bye. They play this week.
They play the Cardinals this week.
Yeah, they play the Cardinals.
Yeah, so I mean, to Lucas' point, I mean, yeah, you gotta win here. I mean, I looked up Dan Campbell's record after a bye, and it's a little skewed because the first year they tied. If you guys remember, that was the Steelers game. Remember that after the bye, it was ugly, 17-17 or whatever it was, or 20-20, whatever it was. The end score, but they tied that game. They lost the next year. That was before the 8-2 run, so they were 1-6, and actually lost to Dallas after the bye. And then the next year they beat the Chargers. That was the shootout game with Montgomery's 70-yard run. So they're Dan's 1-1-1 after the bye so far. So
what a record! And what a record! 1-1.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is kind of a random record. 1-1-1. Their win to the Chargers. So. But Dan's record after losses is really good. They didn't lose last week before the bye, but still, I think they have everything going their way. The one, like I said, the one matchup, and I'm curious what you guys think, that just Carlton on CD, like your confidence level in that. I mean, big test for Carlton, and they might even throw Taron on him at times, but trying to contain him, you can't stop him, but he's going to get 12, 13 targets. But you remember last year, he had that was the Kindle Vildor.
Oh my gosh, Derek Barnes miss.
Yeah, so that was the 90-yard TD that he had in that game. And they did this last year, fellas, where they were giving up all these yards to number one wide receivers, but finding a way to win. I don't know if you can get away with that consistently. I don't think that's the path.
It's really not anything that I'm stressing about, because I think CeeDee Lamb is still going to get his yards, but he's yet to break 100. And I think it's byproduct of it. They didn't have a run game last year, but at least they had Tony Pollard where you had to respect it a little bit. They can't even run this year. I think the matchup that you really have to watch, and who do we have on? Doc brought it up yesterday. Amik Robertson on Jalen Tolbert. That's the one that you have to watch, because I think that's what really opened up Dak Prescott throwing for 350 yards last week. If you look at the corners that CeeDee's had to gone up against, Week 1, Denzel Ward, but like we talked about, Cleveland was always in short field position because defensively Dallas was going off and Kavontae Turpin was having a game on special teams, and that was Brandon Aubrey just kicking 50-yard bombs. New Orleans, Lamb at 90 and Marshawn Lattimore, but then after, like, Baltimore, Marlon Humphrey's having a down year. Nate Wiggins isn't doing anything. Like, I like CeeDee Lamb, Carlton Davis better than both of them and how they're playing. New York, okay, he had 98 yards against New York. You couldn't name a corner they have. Dory Jackson is just perfect.
Yeah, no.
And then Pittsburgh, Joey Porter Jr. is all right, but I like Carlton Davis more than him as of right now. So this is going to be probably the third best corner that he's gone up against, and he's still not gone over 100 yards. And you add in the fact that you have Aiden Hutchinson, if Terrion Arnold's there, and then most importantly, you have Brian Branch back. So as long as CeeDee Lamb is held to under like 120, he could even have his first 100-yard game this week. And I still don't think it's enough because of the lack of talent that Dallas has on defense.
It could be playing from behind too. So, I mean, they'll probably be throwing it a lot, to your point.
I'll say, I don't know. I all right.
Say it.
Well, no, like Klotz, I get the points. Like Carlton could be better than those guys. The Lions have given up 117 yards to Chris Godwin, 110 to Cooper Kupp, DK 104, Tyler Johnson 79, Marvin Harrison 64, Michael Wilson 64, Tyler Lockett 61. They've given up a ton of yards. That has nothing to do with anything. It's like they're going to give these yards up. CeeDee is going to probably have 80 plus yards on Sunday. Does that matter? Nope. I think that's the bottom line of the whole conversation. I just think we've gotten to a point, and I don't know if this is an AG thing. I don't know if this is a Carlton and Terrion. I don't know. It just feels like it was the same thing at the last year too. We're going to still the Detroit Lions are still going to win football games. You can't. I don't think it's let's take account into what which receivers do versus you anymore, because you're still going to win the game. These guys, and it might be because the Lions mostly have the lead in games over the last year. So their teams are always fighting from behind. So they have to force it to their best players, and they have to go out there and get big plays. We saw that with DK on Sunday, or on Monday. What was that? Monday night or Sunday Night Football. We saw that with DK. They're behind and they're forcing. That's what it's going to end up happening. And CeeDee, I'll probably put him in my Booner's lay of the day on Sunday, because it's just they're going to be losing. Yeah. The only trustworthy probably weapon on that football team is CeeDee Lamb, and they're going to find ways and find gaps and find openings for CeeDee to get open. He's probably going to have 80 plus yards, almost 100 yards. But guys, so many people, the only one that really hurt us, that killed us, was the Chris Godwin one. It was because you lost the game. But DK had 100 and you won. Cooper had 100 and you won. Tyler Johnson with Cooper Kupp, they gave you 200 total together, and you still were able to win the football game. So Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal if he gets you, and he probably will. Like, I think he will.
Yeah, I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb is bound to get 70-plus yards. It's just the way their offense is built. And like you said, there's no running game. We said this multiple times, and they're going to be force-feeding him. They're going to be chasing throughout pretty much the whole entire game, I believe. So CD is going to get his. It's just how can you disrupt Dak and kind of make it harder on him. And then obviously when you get the ball on offense, you control the tempo of the game, keep pounding the rock on the ground, and then obviously kind of just make it tough for them. They're going to have to always be throwing the ball. So just get pressure on him. Someone outside of Aiden Hutchinson is going to have to step up and get to Dak. So don't make Dak's life easier. Don't make it any easier.
It's just the thing I look at, and I don't know if it's an overreaction, and please, if it is, call me out. Okay, I'm bringing this up as a conversation. I watched yesterday's game, the 49ers against the Seahawks. Dude, they suffocated Geno Smith. I know some of those TDs were called back, but like watching Geno Smith against that defense and then watching him against the Lions, it's different, how he plays against the Lions. He's like 0-5 against the 49ers. I get divisional game. I get that. But like not saying the Lions have to like suffocate Dak. Like he's a very good quarterback. Like, even though, we poke jokes, he can't win in the postseason, but like, there's gotta be a time in I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see it. But this secondary, there's got to be a point where they gel, right? I mean, you start not shedding down receivers. But, guys, and I said this, I don't know if you can make a Super Bowl unless your offense is just, like, historically great. And your defense, I guess they can be average. But, like, giving up – when you not that they're bend, don't break completely – but when you have that philosophy, you're going to face a team who's very good in the red zone, and they're going to punch you in the mouth. Like so when you have a team like Dallas, it's a good, it's a good test because Dak's going to throw a lot. CeeDee Lamb's a very good wide receiver. Like, not saying you have to shut down CeeDee Lamb, but like, man, just the fact we're like, yeah, he's going to get 100 yards. It's like, I mean, like, you're going to be facing a 49ers team with Debo, Brandon, George Kittle. Like, I mean, you're going to be facing teams with more than just one weapon. You know what I mean?
I mean, but to your point, in that 49ers game, they had those weapons and you're up 17. It wasn't like, there were a couple catches. Like, there was the ball off Vildor's head. There was the fumble, the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. Josh Reynolds drops 2 passes that essentially could help you lock a game up. Like, it wasn't like you had that same style defense where it was like, we'll give you stuff up, but our offense is going to play. Your offense just didn't. Like, and I guess, again, that could be to your point too. It's like you have to play a perfect game on offense. And like you defensively – defensively in that second half, when you have a 17-point lead, your offense just got you that. Defensively, you can't get a stop to help them out. Like, so I guess that proves your point too, Jeff. Like, at some point, it will backfire. So I'm with you on. It's just weird. Like, I feel like you have the safety crew. You have Brian Branch and Kirby. You have the linebacking group that one of the best in the league, in my opinion. You have I know the defensive line, you could have improvement, but like they've been pretty good. And you have probably the best defensive player in the NFL on your defensive line. I think it's just I don't know if it's you could sit here and be like it's Carlton and Terrion, and I think Amik's good. So I don't know. Like, it's tough to be like, where can AG fix this at? Because they keep getting torched. Like, where's the problem? And maybe they need to get more pressure on the quarterback, but it feels like they are getting pressure and they're just not finishing it, or the corners are just given because they're like the Stafford game. It was like they're getting so much pressure, but it's just Stafford. He, like, within a second, boom. And it's like, all right, so your corners are just getting beat the whole time. Like, how are guys open within a second of a guy getting to the quarterback? Like, that should not be like that should not happen. So I don't know. I don't know what AG needs to do to fix this thing. But you're right. Like, you're dead on.
Yeah. Like, guys, we know this run defense is really good. Like, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I don't know. And again, I'm just kind of spitballing here. It's just something that's been on my mind. Like, it felt like the defense from last year, like, you have Aiden playing at like a defensive player of the year, like, level. By the way, Nick Bosa had like 10 plus pressures. And he still has like, I think Aiden is still ahead of him and he has like 2 games on him or something like that. So it's wild.
That's crazy.
So you have Aiden playing the way he's playing, and you have DJ Reader. You upgraded your corners, but it just feels like the secondary just kind of like carried over into this year with like better personnel. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like they're better, but does that not have a little concern where it's like, man, will they figure this thing out to where not you can't shut anyone down in the NFL in today's? I get it, but dude, like 27th in the NFL, like
in passing defense, that's crazy.
That ain't gonna cut it, my man.
I think the common denominator is last year, like you have to turn those pressures into sacks eventually. Like if you're getting that much pressure, you have to get home because just the game script's going to go, okay, we're not going to be able to run the ball against the Detroit Lions. So all week, these offensive coordinators, these quarterbacks, they're looking at where are these passing windows. They're not looking at the running game whatsoever. They obviously are. But going into it, we have to find a way to pass against the Detroit Lions in a way consistently that we can put up points. And when you look at that, so say, let's find the weakness in these matchups. The way to overcome that is now, okay, especially with Marcus Davenport out, you have to get to the quarterback. When we see all these pressures, well, what really comes out of it? We see all these pressures like last week, Kirby Joseph on the blitz, missed the sack. You have to get those types of plays. When you have a shot at the quarterback, every week it seems like there's 2 or 3 plays where Detroit Lions defensive lineman has the quarterback in his hands, but he slips out. But we saw it against Baker Mayfield numerous times, and that led to more yardage, more time for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to have the ball in their hands, and they won that game. So when you are going up against those elite offenses, the secondary, the talent is there. The chemistry will be there. But at the end of the day, a quarterback in the NFL today, like you just said, Jeff, you're not shutting anybody down. If they are just consistently finding a way to break out and create plays, the plays are going to happen. You have to shut the plays down before they even get there. And I know it's not even just a Hutch thing. Like somebody has to step up outside of Hutch. Hutch can't keep getting these 10 pressure games and expecting that to turn into wins when you're going up against good quarterbacks and good offenses. Ali McNeil has to start turning these pressures. And I know he looks good out there, but you have to start getting sacks, especially now that Marcus Davenport's out there. Levi Onwuzurike, you're a second-round pick. You've been doing great. You have a sack and a half. You need to step it up more now. That's what has to happen for this to stop. If it doesn't, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, they might go from 27th to 24th to 22nd, but they're never going to be a top half of the league because at the end of the day, passing defense is it's a balance. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. When you get pressure and the quarterback gets the ball out of his hand, you got to be in a good spot to make coverage and make a play. But if one side isn't showing up, both sides are going to look bad. Like the run defense will always look good, but until you start getting the quarterback, nothing will change.
I mean, you're just around the Lions. I mean, they're 27th in the NFL in pass yards allowed. 28th is Tampa Bay, which like makes sense. Like they lost Carlton Davis. They don't really have anyone at corner. 29, and they have Antoine Winfield out. And 29, Indianapolis. 30, Minnesota. 31, Baltimore. And 32, Jacksonville. So you're kind of in that mix. You know,
it's kind of weird that some of those teams are in there, though. Like Baltimore.
Yeah, and I guess, when you – it's a little different. Like they're Lions, I will say they're doing a good job. Points allowed, like scoring defense, they're really good. So they're balancing it. It's just something that eventually just has to click. And the Vikings defense, like although they're giving up pass yards, when you watch in the game, you're like they're suffocating opponents. So and they're forcing multiple turnovers. So maybe the Lions can get to that, but it's something to watch. I mean, something to watch.
I mean, like just looking at the rankings for the Lions defense, the top 10 in points per game, which is great. Like that was obviously the first 3 weeks. They're top 10 in rushing defense. Unbelievable. They're 4th. Third down defense, there's top 10. They're 7th, which is like, all right, they're getting off the field on third down. Like that's what you want. That's ideal. But then when you look at some of the other ones, like takeaways, they're only 15th. So like they have had takeaways, but they're only 15th in the
Where's
NFL
Minnesota in takeaways?
I do not have that pulled up. I just had the Lions one.
I think they're up there.
And then like just continuing that, like red zone efficiency, they're 20th in the NFL. Like that's not good. Pass defense, 27th. Total yards given up, 22nd. Like you're in the 20s in almost every category outside of those first 3 that I named. Like eventually this thing has to click. Like after week 1 and week 2, and I will say we did it probably. Like everyone's giving AG all this credit and but it's like, the Seahawks game, like maybe it's an anomaly. Maybe it wasn't a bit, but like, hey, it happened. And when you have like the defense you had last year, and you had some dudes on your defense last year, but when you had the rankings and where your defense was last year to where in the 49ers game, the second half, there was those mistakes, but your defense basically gives up a bunch of points to dwindle down that lead. When a game like the Seahawks games happens this year, like I think it's okay for people to question and be like, all right, where's the holes? Like, what's going on? Like, AG, what are we going to do differently here? I had the same thing last year, and people were like, oh, you're firing. I think AG does a great. I'm all in on AG. I just think you can't have those games. Like, Jeff, I love that you said what you said. Like, you can't have those types of games if you want to win a Super Bowl. Because if that happens in the playoffs, boom, you're done instantly. So like you want to be considered a legit Super Bowl contending team, like Spags doesn't have those like games. Like they might struggle sometimes, but like that man in the playoffs and everything, like no, that defense is always locked in and always good and ready to go. And it's like, how confident are you that AG can do that? I know you don't want to put AG on the Spags level, but like you have to perform on a level like that if you want to go beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like that's the type of level you have to be at. So I just think like, yeah, that Seahawks game, you're looking at it a little bit and Demond Dice asked where are they passing defense? They're 27th in the NFL. Like you're outside the top 20 in majority categories defensively. That's not ideal for us. Like that's not ideal at all for the Detroit Lions, especially when that was like supposed to be the main factor going into this year is fixing this defense.
Yeah, and Jeff, I'm pretty sure the Vikings are number 2 in takeaways.
Yeah, so
because the thing with the Vikings and like Booner even brought it up with like the Ravens is the Ravens like Malcolm Adebuke really hasn't been doing that much as far as we did last year. They lost to Davion Clowney who gave them 10 plus sacks. Like Kirby Joseph is damn near had a pick in every game, and when he didn't, Brian Branches had a pick. Like this defense is getting interceptions. Yeah. But how many like forced fumbles have we seen that the Detroit Lions have recovered? Not that many. So I think that's again you got to get to the quarterback because I know Matthew Stafford gets the ball out quick. I know Baker Mayfield can get the ball out quick. Whoever. But at the end of the day, these quarterbacks still have games where you see them like, oh, Stafford got sacked 5 times this week. Oh, Baker, he got hit 4 times. Like the Broncos defense exposed Baker at home. So it's like when you look at that, it's like, okay, like I understand that these quarterbacks get the ball out quick, but they're doing that every week against other teams. You got to be able to find a way in the front 7 to create turnovers. For the Vikings has 2 pick sixes. Now I'm not saying that you need Alex Van Ginkel, but Alex Anzalone, get a pick, get in the passing lane, get a pick. Jack Campbell in coverage, get a pick. Like somebody else and create a turnover.
I want to ask you guys a question with that. On paper, who would you guys say has the better defense? The Detroit Lions? Like, I think I know what the answer was before the season. The Detroit Lions or the Minnesota Vikings on paper?
On paper, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
I would still say the Lions.
And the Detroit in the Minnesota Vikings defense is outperforming the Detroit Lions defense probably significantly. Like, that's why they're 5-0. Like, yeah, so like games, that shows right there. It's like, and again, don't want to make it an AG thing because people there's this thing with the age, like there's this thing always with when you criticize someone, it's like there's those people who are like, why would you like? It's not me saying I want the man fired or anything, but like look at what Brian Flores is doing with that defense to compare what AG is doing with the defense in Detroit. Like he has a significantly, I wouldn't say maybe not significantly, but like the defense on paper probably isn't as good as the Lions, and he's still putting out an insane product on the field there. So like you have to be able to get the schemes right. The coaching does really matter, and that Seahawks game that worries me a little bit, fellas. Jeff, you've got me thinking. Don't like this.
Well,
not versus Dallas. They'll be good versus Dallas, but.
I see this comment, and I want to because I just looked it up real quick. Let's see, Wilson. Shout out to him, by the way. He said 27th in yards, but how many passing TDs have the Lions given up? I don't have the exact number, but I do know that per game they're 10th, tied for 10th with Tampa, a passing TD a game.
I can find out.
Yeah, I don't know how many passing TDs they've given up, but I know they're giving up about 1 a game. So I mean, do the math there on how many games they've played.
They've given up 4 touchdowns, passing touchdowns this season.
So it's not, and it's good. So red zone defense, scoring defense, they've been pretty good. It's just something to watch. I think offensively is where they're going to have all their advantage guys. I think, big game. We'll get into our, we're going to give some props later in the show before we do our pick'ems and Booner's bets and stuff. We'll give a couple props we like for the game. But I know one thing, this Dallas rush defense, I know they showed up against the Giants with good old Singletary. They did their thing, but this is different. The best O-line in the league, the best running back duo in the league. They come up with a new nickname for them every single week. I think this week are going to be the focal point because you have them off a bye too. Like in the way Dave Montgomery's playing, like I put him as an impact player to watch. I think his style of running is going to kill them because you have. They drafted the defensive tackle out of Michigan. What's his name? I have to look at the Mazi Smith. That's who it was. They have Mazi Smith in the middle. Then they have another defensive tackle. It's Osa. Don't know how to pronounce his last name, but they have 2 decent defensive tackles. But you look at the edge, dude. They're reaching deep. They just had their mid-round pick go out, Marshawn Nealon from Western.
Goff lost,
they have Golston, who's another edge. Could I interest you?
William Golston?
Yep.
Yeah, he's about 38 years old, probably.
Wait, no.
Chauncey Golston.
Chauncey.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah. Sorry. Different Golston. But they don't have much on that defensive line, dude. I think with Frank back, they're going to run for $150 more than that this week. And you're not going to need Goff. Like same thing as every week, fellas. Like keep that man under 30 pass attempts. You keep everything on the ground. You keep this offense off the field. And, you stay efficient on third down. If they can put up, I think to beat the Cowboys this week, I think the Cowboys are going to score some points here at home. But I think the offense got to score 24, 27 points, and I think they come out of here with a win. I don't see this thing being high scoring, but the offense is they're going to have to do their thing this week. No turnovers, even with Deron Bland coming back and the ball hawk he is. Like, got to take care of the ball, but big game for those two running backs. Like, I don't 170 yards on the ground easily.
For sure. I don't think Deron Bland's I think this is going to be his first game of the season.
Even if he does play, like
he's been out all year.
Yeah. I don't even think he's practiced. I think this week's his first week back at practice, so I'm not really worried about him. If Jared Goff, and I think, guys, I feel like we've turned a corner with Jared Goff. Like, struggled a little bit. I know the perfect game probably tells a lot there, fellas. But I just think, like, when Jared Goff gets things going and he's just in the zone, like last year, he had that 3-game stretch where he struggled, and then when he gets things going, boom, he's in the zone. We saw like a 15-game stretch from 2022 to 2023 where he was like that. I think Jared Goff had his bad it's probably best case scenario for the Detroit Lions fans. Jared Goff had his bad stretch to start the season, and now he's able to be like, I just got a good feeling of what good football feels like, how to take care of the ball. There's going to be no turnovers at some point this year, but I think now his emphasis is like, take care of the rock, make the correct play. I know what I'm doing now. I'm ready to go. And versus Dallas defense, no Micah, Deron Bland, slow, Trayvon Diggs going through injuries. I don't even know if he's going to play. Like, was he questionable, correct?
Yeah, he's questionable, yeah.
So questionable, so going through injuries. They should be – and you know what even makes this better, Klotzy? You're going to love this even more. Do you guys remember over the offseason, Amon-Ra St. Brown did a podcast talking about Detroit's own Jordan Lewis, and so they asked him, they said, hey, Amon-Ra, who do you hate the most in the NFL? What player talks the most? Who do you not like? And he says, when I finally get a hold of that guy, Jordan Lewis, over in Dallas again, after what the stuff he was saying to me last year, he was like, I cannot wait to kill him. Not literally, but to kill him on the football field. And I think that was almost word for word. Amon-Ra St. Brown is out for blood versus Jordan Lewis. There's so many people on Twitter acting like this Jordan Lewis-Amon-Ra rivalry is like a thing. Jordan Lewis is on so many levels lower than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best at his position in the NFL. He just got paid an absolute bag. Jordan Lewis, yeah, he's from Michigan man here. Shout out Jordan Lewis. Shout out Go Blue. But still, in the NFL, you versus Amon-Ra St. Brown, let me tell you something, huh? All right, nothing's going to happen out of that. Amon-Ra's going to cook him. Jared's going to make sure to get him the rock, and this run game is going to be dominant. Jeff, I'll raise you. You said 150? I'll raise you. Why not 200 all-purpose yards from our two running backs? I said it a couple weeks ago, and it came true. Let's do it again. 200 all-purpose yards from the running backs. I would love for each of them to have 100 all-purpose. Maybe it goes 110, 90, 105, 95. 200 all-purpose from both of them. They're going to win this game. This offense, all right, we're doing our score predictions within the hour here. Why not score 30-plus again? This offense is back, Jeff. 20-something's not going to do. It'll do it. You'll win. But listen, Ben Johnson is now back. He struggled to start. Ben is back. This offense is back. Jared's back. Amon-Ra back. J-Mo, he's here.
Jordan Lewis is their slot corner, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a matchup.
No, it won't. No, it won't. What are we talking about here? Amon-Ra is going to absolutely dominate
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis, he's not elite, but
he's like an 80 overall.
He's playing all right. He's playing all right this season. I think he's giving up like
a C-plus guy.
Yeah, like and not for like skill on skill. That's not what I mean. But in terms of like the drama, I cannot wait for it. You know, I don't think like watch out for Jordan Lewis. Beware, he might tweet about you again.
Felt like that. Yeah, it felt like that.
I have something planned.
You got something planned?
Yeah, we'll circle the wagon.
You let him get away with what he was coming after.
I agree with Booner. I was gonna say like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think both just strictly on the ground. Like they're gonna be pushing 175. Like I think Monty can easily get 90 to 100. And if he's doing that Dallas defense already sucks at stopping the run as it is. Like Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna have a couple of big plays through the ground or through the air. I think there's a real chance they both do that because at the end of the day, like we just talked about it, like the turnover battle is what is most important because this Detroit Lions team is just simply better. So when you look at that, you take it. How do you keep the ball safe? You run the ball and you take the check downs. You let your playmakers work for you. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. The easier it is for Jared Goff to get to point A to point B with the ball, the less the turnovers that are going to be creative. So I think that it's going to be just David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, 225 plus yards, probably 3 touchdowns between them. Lions are probably going to score like 31 to 34, and I only think Dallas scores like 17 between there. Like I don't think there's going to be much of a path outside of yards, but no points.
Yeah, no, I agree. As far as I think the Lions are easily going to put up 30 points in this game, and I think they hold the Dallas Cowboys to below 25 points. I mean, we'll get to that later in our score predictions. But as far as the defensive backs go for the Cowboys, yeah, they are very good, but they're like big play dependent, and they do get cooked a lot. So, like you said, Jeff, you kind of limit Jared Goff's throws. You keep them below 30, but there will be some times to take some shots and attack that defense, especially De'Aaron Bland, Trayvon Diggs. They'll step up and make some turnovers from time to time, but they also do get cooked a lot. But for the most part, you're still going to keep it on the ground. It's going to be a huge game from David Montgomery. I think him and Gibbs both probably get in the end zone in this game. And Boone, like you said, I could easily see them going for around 200 yards, maybe just below it. But the Lions running backs are easily going to be the focal point, and they're going to be the reason why we go into Dallas and dominate.
Hey, don't forget too, Frank Ragnow's back. The offensive line for a couple weeks, they were trying to get things going a little bit. Some guys struggled, Taylor Decker, and Kevin Zeitler was kind of getting a feel for things. Last week was the week that it felt like they absolutely took over the offensive line, and that was with Graham at the center position and Yodi in. Now that you get Frank back and this offensive line's firing on all cylinders, you should that should be Ben Johnson's emphasis. Like just run the ball. Go buy the merch too. Run the ball. Just run the ball. That's all you should be doing.
Man. Come on. What are we doing here? I mean, by the way, fellas, let's get into it. Give me your score predictions. I'll go first. I think this game, we all kind of agree on how it's going to go. I think offensively, the Lions are going to have control of this game, especially on the ground. I think defensively, though, whether the Cowboys are playing from behind or not, and kind of them just throwing the ball, they're going to throw the ball like 40, 45 times. I think they score some points here. I got the Lions winning 30-21. So I have them winning by 9. Weird score prediction, but trust me, bro. This is how it's going to go. This is how it's going to go. Lions are going to score 30. Jared Goff's going to have, somewhere between 25 to 28 pass attempts. They're going to keep him low. Not that that's disrespect. I just think that's how this offense should run. Like when you're running the ball, play action, Amon-Ra gets his 5-6 catches for 80 yards, whatever. You get J-Mo with a big play here or there. Maybe Sam Laporta wakes up this week and starts, not that it's all on him, but maybe to get him more involved this week, especially with the play action game. I think the Lions score 30, and I'm going to give them the win by 9. So I'm going to go 30-21. Lions win on the road, walk out victorious after the bye week.
Wow. I love that. I mean, for me, I'm similar to Jeff. I'm so confident in this game. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game just because I think the Lions, I don't see the Dallas defense stopping the Detroit Lions. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to get out early. Like the first 3 possessions are going to score like 3 touchdowns, or field goal. Like I think it's going to be like touchdown, field goal, or straight touchdown. So where you're sitting there and it's like a quick 21-7, like instantly, and you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, all right, here we go. And then they control the time from there. I'm going to go, and I think the Dallas Cowboys towards the end score some just to get things going, trying to come back. I'll go, Jeff. I already had 31, and it's close to your 30, so I'll stick with it. I'm going to go 31-24 Detroit Lions. Probably end up having to take the over at that point. I don't know what the total is, but I'm guessing that's going to be the over 50 points for sure. So I think it's going to be over. The only reason I'm giving the Cowboys 24, I would go lower. I just think there's going to be a couple garbage time touchdowns. I think finally, guys, the Detroit Lions, after not winning a game versus Dallas in over a decade, and they've lost 6 straight or something insane, I think they finally get it done, and I think they do it in a big fashion. Like I was looking at some of the scores. versus the Cowboys over the years, and the Lions got absolutely rolled in some of them, 20-point losses. I think it's like finally that's like Lions fans were finally that much better than the Dallas Cowboys. Like enjoy this one, honestly. 31-24.
Yeah, and Boone, I just looked at the over-under. It's 52.5.
Take the over then.
Take the
Damn,
over.
that's like
But
right around.
I do agree, Boone. We were kind of really close on our score predictions. I'm going to go 31-20. I think the Cowboys end up getting a couple field goals. They're unsuccessful, obviously driving down a few times. They have a good kicker. He can make it from pretty deep. I think the Lions get in the end zone, at least the running backs both one each, or if not one of them twice. And then I think Jared Goff actually, throws a couple TDs. So I think the Lions kind of let their offense continues the pressure that they were putting on last week, and they keep rolling. 31-21 Lions.
I think the Lions go more than that, boys. I'm going to give a touchdown more. I'm going to go Lions 38, Dallas Cowboys 19. I think the Dallas Cowboys struggle to get in the end zone. I think they find a way to get over midfield a couple of times. And with Brandon Aubrey, he's almost automatic right now. I think he gets 4 field goals. They're not going to be able to get touchdowns. And I think in the red zone, the lack of them being able to run the ball, like that's where I think when you look at Seattle, Kenneth Walker, Los Angeles Rams, Kyron Williams, Arizona Cardinals, James Conner, like in the red zone, those guys could fight for tough yardage. Ezekiel Elliott is not that. Rico Dowdle is not that. I think they struggle in the red zone. On the flip side, like Booner just said, in the red zone, all you have to do is run the ball this week. Run the ball. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery each will have a touchdown. I bet one of them will have 2. And they talk about Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You could even factor in the big play from Jamison Williams. They're going to have more than 4 touchdowns. I think they get 5 and a Jake Bates field goal. Got Lions 38 and doubling the Dallas Cowboys points of 19.
I love it. I love it. And for at least instead of doing our over-unders for, we do our over-unders, we say over-under. We're going to give some props out that you guys like. I don't know if you looked at any sports books, and I took a peek earlier on some things that I do like, especially for the value. And I'm going to be honest, I'll start with my first one here. And I said this earlier this year, so maybe it's just me saying it enough times where it'll come true. Could be, potentially. The one that I do really like, guys, plus 210, anytime touchdown score. Give me Sam Laporta. Laporta, anytime touchdown score, plus 210. Love the value. We know where the line is at now because this year he does not have a touchdown. And name a linebacker that can cover him. I don't know. They don't have one. They're probably going to throw a safety on him. I think it's going to be a mismatch, and I like Sam Laporta to score his first TD. Attention will be on the run game. Amon-Ra, even J-Mo to some extent. I think Sam Laporta gets his first touchdown of the season. So that's my first prop, anytime touchdown score. Another one that I do like is the over on Dave Montgomery. It's at 56.5. It's lower than Jahmyr Gibbs. Come on. Dave Montgomery getting more than 56.5 yards. Slam that over. Love that line. I think he's going to get anywhere from 70 to 80. Hell, he can even get 100 yards this week. So I like the over on Dave Montgomery's yards. You can even double it and go over on both running backs. I don't mind it. I mean, Jahmyr's at 58.5. Another line that I really do like is the under on Rico Dowdle. He's at 41.5. I don't think Hey, Mike. Yeah, taught me a lot here, Mike. We're cooking here. Under 41.5. It's Rico Dowdle, all due respect. And number 2, they're not going to run the ball because they're going to be in these passing downs a lot. You're going to have Dak trying to beat you with his arm. So under on Rico Dowdle's rushing yards, over on Dave Montgomery. Hell, you can even throw Jahmyr in there. I don't mind it. And then anytime touchdown score, give me Sam Laporta. Those are 3 props I really like this week.
The Sam Laporta one, it's just so interesting because it's like Sam Laporta eventually is going to have a touchdown. And typically you'd see Sam Laporta at plus 150, plus 120.
That's how it was last year.
Every game. After week 1, instantly it was just Sam Laporta was in the plus 100s. So the fact now that Vegas is looking at it and they're like, oh, he hasn't. It's probably like an algorithm type thing that they have. Oh, this guy he's this good, but his production he hasn't given you any. So it's gradually as he doesn't score a touchdown, it's going to keep lowering, and that value is going to grow and grow and grow. What was it? Plus what? What was that?
Plus 210, which is kind of double your money. You kidding me? I mean, I like it.
What the Rico Dowdle one? I almost put that on mine. It just 40 seems so low. Like to me, it's I could see him get what is it? 40.5? You said
41.5. What did James Conner have? He had 20.
It was low for sure. It just I could see a world. So Kenneth Walker had 80, Kyron had 50, and then the next highest was Bucky Irving, 22 this year. That's crazy.
I mean, realistically, Rico Dowdle is on none of those guys' level, and he's not even
James
touching
Conner had
Bucky
7
Irving in the running game.
James Conner had 17. Yeah, no, I love that. I love the Rico Dowdle under. That might be I might do like an alternate under. I don't know if you can do that.
Rico Dowdle. I'm telling
That's
you right
crazy.
now.
I'm like looking at running backs versus the Detroit Lions this year. It's literally, guys, just literally Kenneth Walker 80, Kyron 50, and then Bucky 22, Rashad 18, James Conner 17, Ronnie Rivers 16, Zach Charbonnet 15, Trey Benson 8. Like, that is crazy, man. That's nuts. I like those. Hey, those are good ones. I've got some odd ones. You guys want some like off the wall ones here?
Yeah.
And I think they all.
Good,
so I had originally, I had David Montgomery over 56.5. That was one that I had. So I was locked into that. I went a step further. I went David Montgomery over 14.5 rush attempts at plus 105.
Ooh.
He's had, so last week, it seems like every other week, and I don't know if this has been, it's purposeful or, you don't want to get into a pattern for defenses to notice. But week 1, he had 17 carries. And then week 2, he had 11. And then in week 3, he had 23. And then in week 4, he had 12. So it's like every other week, they're like, oh, let's give the man the rock. I do, though, think, again, all of us are on the same page. David Montgomery is going to have a lot of opportunities on Sunday. They're going to run the rock. They're going to run the ball down their throat. I think he gets at least 15 carries. Second one, fellas. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
J-Mo, longest reception over 20.5 yards.
Oh, I love it. I love that one.
If he gets a catch, he just breaks one off for 21 yards plus, you're good. You win. Yeah, is that a good one?
I love that. Yeah. He can do that. I mean, hell, he could do that in a lot of different ways. I mean, I love it.
And then the last one I have, Jake Bates over 2.5 extra points.
Oh, wow.
Lions score 3 touchdowns.
That's a thing? What's the odds on that?
Yeah,
Jake
it's
Bates
just
over
even money. It's just even money, like minus 120 or something. It's just, you just go in there. It's a decent bet. Just over 2.5 extra points. So essentially, you're just getting 3 touchdowns. And as long as, and Dan Campbell does go for 2 sometimes, so that could be an issue. But as long as it's just a normal football game and Jake Bates goes and they get 3 touchdowns, Jake Bates gets 3 extra points. So I'm all in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my 3, though. D-Mont over 14.5 attempts. J-Mo longest reception over 20.5 yards, and Jake Bates over 2.5 extra points.
Dig it, Boone. I dig it. I actually like that extra point one, especially for, around even money. It's not bad at all. And obviously we expect the Lions to score more than 3 touchdowns. So that's solid. I have a few here. A lot of them have to do with one person, but I'll go my separate one right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 76.5 receiving yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think he cooks Jordan Lewis this game. He's going to get off. He's been talking about it. He's been looking forward to this game. We already know about Jared Goff's connection with St. Brown. There's not much to be said about it. I want to say he's hit that line in like 4 of the games already, or 3 out of the 4 games already. So I think that line is an absolute lock. And then Monty, anytime touchdown, minus 150. Obviously, he got in last week early in the game. So I'm going to sprinkle that again. David Montgomery, first touchdown score, plus 550. It seems like every time the Lions start the game, he's in for that first drive and they drive down, and then they will feed him until he gets into the end zone. So I love the first touchdown look there. And then, Jeff, you already said it as well. Monty over 56.5 rushing yards. He'll probably have that in the first half, the way this game's going to be going. And then I also agreed with you on the Rico Dowdle under. No running back has had real good success against us. And if they were, it was a guy like Kenneth Walker, who we know what type of running back he is. And Rico Dowdle, like I said, is nowhere near him. And we expect that Dak Prescott to throw the ball 40 to 50 times. I just don't think Rico is going to be getting a lot of looks, especially with them hopefully chasing the Lions this whole game. So
just one more to throw in there, boys. And I was fine to going through the specials at plus 700. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both that have 25-plus rushing yards in each half. So 25 yards from both of them each half right now is at plus 700. I might throw I might throw like 50 on that. That's a lock.
Yeah.
We will have that in the first quarter, on the first drive, potentially, like Gentry was just talking about. If he doesn't get it in the first 2 drives, he's getting it on the third. And Jahmyr Gibbs will get that in 1 run in the first half. There's no way that is a lock at plus 700.
That's a good find.
Another bet that has been up, and I've taken it the last 2 weeks now, was Jahmyr Gibbs' longest rush. It's opened up at 12.5 yards the last 2 weeks, and it's been even money. So Jahmyr Gibbs to get 13 yards on a rush. Once that finally prop becomes available, I don't know if that will be the same line, but that was it for the past 2 weeks, and he's gotten it easily. So that's another one to look out for when it drops.
What do you guys make of the some people are putting in there Tim Patrick anytime touchdown score?
Imagine
he's I think he's at like plus 550 on most sports books. He's up there plus 600. There might even be a boost to get him to plus 600 for Tim Patrick. I don't know. I feel like at least from what I've seen with Goff, he seems to be a guy, if he trusts you, he's got to trust you in the red zone. That's why I'm going with Laporta. Like, he already trusts Laporta. What did Laporta have last year? Like 10 TDs?
Yeah, I hit 10.
Like, dude, are you kidding me? And I just boosted it to plus 280, like 275. So it's like, seems like free money to me. All right. Good stuff, fellas. You guys that's free money. You guys can hammer it, tail it. If not, you don't have to.
Hey, not free money. There's still a chance you can lose. Bet responsibly.
Positive.
We don't want to get sued, Jeff. Come on now.
Free money.
Yourself up for something over there.
Yeah. I mean, but don't bet anything you're not already thinking of losing.
It's not free. You won't automatically win either.
Yeah. Well, that Sam Laporta one, I'm feeling good about it.
Hey, it's a very nice, very, very fine bet.
Very fine bet. Yeah, there you go. All right, Boone. Let's get to your best bets. You got some good ones. This is NFL and college football. You got across the board here. You're diving in. So let's get to here. Let me get some music on. Booner's best bets for the weekend. Why you nervous?
Yeah, I haven't seen the between college and NFL. My Lions bets always hit. It's just these best ones really get to me sometimes, man.
All right, let's hear it. Let's see what he's got. College football and NFL, Boone. Hold on, Boone.
Bets, baby. Best bets. Hey, a lot of winners. A lot of winners. I don't care what you say. A lot of winners. I don't care about this Texas-Oklahoma game. Well, I do care about it. I don't care what anyone thinks about it. There's only one thing that's going to happen. Quinn Ewers is officially back. And by the way, Booner's best bets brought to you by the best beer on the market right now, Real American Beer, baby. Go get a Real American Beer. I don't have one on me here where I'm at, but I drink them every day. Love Real American Beer. First one, though, Texas. Minus 15 versus Oklahoma Sooners. This is a massive matchup. We all know this. But Quinn Ewers, I do think him coming back, guys, he is going to be like, hey, I want to show the people. I know Arch Manning had his time. I'm Quinn Ewers, though. I'm still a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. I am one of the best quarterbacks in the college football. I want to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. He is going to go out there on this Saturday. He's going to go out there tomorrow, and he's going to prove why he should be. He wants to be in the Heisman race. Why he's one of the best quarterbacks in college. Give me Texas. I know 15 sounds like a lot, especially in a matchup like this. But guys, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Texas is about to win by 20 plus. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling Quinn's about to go absolutely nuts. Second one, Lukas Klotz.
Yes, sir.
I took this last week. I went and made
don't fix it, Boone.
I went and made the graphic, and I saw it. I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm keeping that on there. It's like minus 115 the last time I looked. It's nothing crazy. You're not getting plus money, but I'll tell you what, it's a winner. That's all that. Hey, we talk about value, Jeff, with Sam Laporta, right? Sam Laporta has had a touchdown, not a guaranteed winner. You say it's free money. You want to know real free money? That's a Jeremiah Smith. Tutty. Get that man in the pay dirt, as Jeff Iafrate says. Jeremiah, especially versus Oregon, he's their best player. They're going to find the way to get him the rock into the end zone. Jeremiah Smith touchdown. Third one. Let me tell you guys something. I want to pull up some stats real quick.
What do you got?
I just want to pull up some stats real quick. I want to pull up some stats real quick for you guys. My guy, I was wrong. I said, hey, there's going to be a running back in the Heisman race this year. I had the wrong one with Ollie Gordon. But guess what? My vision was correct. There's a man by the name of Ashton Jeanty Let me just through 5 games. This man has 1,000+ yards, 16 touchdowns in 5 games, guys. He didn't even play in the second half last week. He had 186 yards and 3 touchdowns last week in the first half. Boise State right now. Whoa. Boise.
Whoa.
Did you see that? That's what that man Ashton does to people. He sets fire alarms off. Ashton Jeanty.
Boys.
Huh?
It's on me, boys.
Oh no, hey, that's Ashton for you, man.
No, it added to the effect. I kind of like it.
That's the Boise State effect.
He's on
Boise
fire
State right now, guys. 5-0 in overs on the season. 5-0. They score so many points. They've scored last week 62 points on their own. There was 90 points in the entire game. Week before, 45 points. 69 points in the entire game. Week before, they scored 56 points and over 60 points in the entire game. The week before, they scored 34 points. Guess who was that against? That was versus Oregon, 37-34. And the week before, they scored 56 points on their own. This line shouldn't be at 59.5. They're going to score 70 points on Hawaii this weekend. That, Jeff Iafrate, is what I call a free bet. Bet responsibly. Fourth one. The Washington almost said the Washington Ravens. The Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens. We're taking the over, guys. We're taking the over. These are two offenses that love to score the football. They love to score the football. I believe here. Let me check my notes. Booner notes. Washington 4-1 on overs this year. Minnesota. No. Yeah, 4-1. Minnesota Ravens 4-1 on the overs.
Minnesota Ravens.
Minnesota.
Ravens.
Oh,
Yeah, they're in a different setting.
Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry. I'm working over here, boys. Baltimore Ravens 4-1 on the over as well. They're both 4-1 on the over on the year. Just two teams. Defenses haven't really figured it out as much as you would think they could. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. The Commanders score at a very high clip. Lamar Jackson scores at a high clip. 51.5 seems a little low. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 37-35 game, 37-34, something like that. And then the last one, guys, I feel like this is one of the – honestly, I feel like I go into these best bets every week, guys, and I just go, I love every single one of these plays. Every single one. Like with my full heart. And sometimes the results don't come out the way I want them. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. But this week, looks like a 5-0 week to end it. The Detroit Lions, fellas, you guys already know this. We talked about it the whole show. Going into Dallas, team total is 27.5. I believe they scored 30+ points this week. We saw what they did versus Seattle Seahawks, a beat-up Dallas defense. They should go out there and score 30+ points versus this Dallas team. They should. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, if they had a pulse, they would score 30+ points on this Dallas Cowboys defense with all the injuries. So that's my bets, guys. Texas minus 15, Jeremiah Smith touchdown, Boise State over 59.5. That's full game. Hawaii as well. Washington, the Commanders and Ravens over 51.5, and Detroit Lions team total over 27.5. I love all of these bets. Everyone should take these bets. 5-0 this week.
Hey,
Love it, bro.
5-0 this week. I love it.
Did my research.
Yeah, Ashton Jeanty's insane.
Did you see that meme going around where it's like he's the Michael Myers of college football because he just stands straight up in the backfield?
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. It's really weird. When I was watching him live last week, I was like, I don't think this is real.
Jeff, you're not going to like him around draft time. I'm early to say, but I'd be willing to say there's 2 running backs taken in the first round this year. Gentry will go top 15, especially if Dallas is sitting there. And I'd be willing to bet like a team like potentially like even like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like there'll be somebody in the back half of it that are going to be looking at Ollie Gordon, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. Like there's going to be a couple running backs taken in the first round. Probably.
I love how he just sprinkled in his Ohio State guys.
Boone, you even were talking about Quinshon.
He's good, Boone.
He's good. First round though was crazy, man.
No.
Hey, these guys. I mean, I'm telling you, they just don't learn. I mean,
Jeff is disgusted.
I think, if there is, to Lucas's point, maybe there's one in the 20s, but I think a majority of these guys will be in the 30s, 40s. I'm just saying. I mean, that's how it goes, and that's why they're bringing it back. You don't pay them because an Ashton Jeanty comes out every year, or a Judkins comes out, or an Ollie Gordon comes out. You just
don't pay
that
most
guy. What'd you say?
You don't pay most of them, but there's some guys that you pay.
Yeah,
You don't.
I'll give you that.
I think like running backs and tight ends go hand in hand. Like you don't take them in the first round. Teams that do, they usually regret it.
Yep.
But like if you have a George Kittle, you have a Travis Kelce, you have a player like that, you keep them around.
Ashton Jeanty might be the best running back we've seen in like 20 years. Like
Saquon, probably.
Dude, this man, it's not even like this guy's just like he's playing like lower level. Oh, listen, Klotz, I love you. No, like this guy is getting like hit. He's breaking like 1 million tackles. Like he is like his first touch of every football game is like an 80-yard touchdown run. Saquon was unbelievable. We have not seen anyone do what this guy's doing. This guy literally just had 180 yards, basically 200 yards. He's got 16 touchdowns through 10. How many touchdowns did Saquon have in one season? What's the most?
If you're talking about production-wise, you're absolutely right. Like that. But as far as like an actual football player, like
dude, I don't know, dude. What he's doing is insane.
Saquon was opening games against Ohio State, taking him back 100 yards for a kickoff return. Like there's just things that Gentry
sounds like that was personal.
Going to be great. No, bro, Saquon Barkley was insane. Like
he was good, but this is like we've never seen this before in a long time.
He's probably he's the best sense. Even if we can compromise, best sense Saquon. Yeah. I mean, he's probably the best. Like he's smaller than Saquon, but dude, every game he's getting like an 80-yard TD run. It's dude,
his runs are like it's like watching like one of the greatest wide receiver or running backs all time. This man just like it's unbelievable. Some of these runs he has. It's like.
Henry.
Yeah, he might be the first to win it since Derrick Henry if he's in the Heisman conversation.
I would vote for him right now to win the Heisman. Yeah. It's insane. The plays he makes, dude. It is like I feel bad gassing the guy. I don't want to gas people up too much, but like,
yeah, he's a fine. I feel like
we're witnessing hit history. Wait, I'm gonna do the math real quick. 5 games. How many games did they play? 12.
You're gonna hate the pre-draft process, like the Raiders. Like if they trade back, like the Raiders are probably going to be trying to get multiple picks in the first. And
you think the Raiders are going to take a running back?
Like if the Raiders trade back into the second round, you walk out of there with the quarterback early on, and you get a running
or
back.
Take a corner. They need a corner.
They do, but you look at the corners in this draft. There's not that many that are like elite. If you can get elite running back and then go day 2 with corner,
they might take Will Johnson.
What is that?
Maybe Will Johnson if they're top 5.
Yeah, the Raiders better take a quarterback first pick.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. Quarterback.
Cam Ward to Vegas, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Real quick. I just want to like, I want to look at something here. The most touchdowns ever in his rushing touchdowns in a season is 37 by Barry Sanders. He is on pace for 39 right now. Like that's the pace he's going at. That is like the next one behind Barry is Monty Ball of Wisconsin, which he was really good. Like 33. Devin Singletary 32. Derrick Henry had 28 in a season at Bama. I mean, he's on track for 39, and that's only through 12 games. That's not even – I didn't even count, like, if they played in a bowl game, which they will. Like, I'm just counting just regular season. That's what's crazy about what he's doing right now. Like, he's about to break that record. I'm interested. Hold on. I want to see rushing yards in the college season because he's on pace for 2,500. Yeah, Barry, 2,600. Melvin Gordon, 25. Kevin Smith, 25. Like, this man is on pace for his story. It's unbelievable. We haven't seen this in a long time.
It's crazy. We forget about Melvin Gordon. That's insane.
Hey, Wisconsin for a while.
They had another one today. Monty Ball, then Melvin Gordon. There's one that we're forgetting about that was just like monster. Can't think of them all the top of my head though.
I know Jonathan Taylor was coming out of there, and everyone says he was overused. He was run down, and then he's been pretty good. But anyway, we're going to do our NFL pick'em and college football pick'em. Well, we're going to start counting records. We did it last week, so clean slate for the prior week. So we're just doing last week, and then we're going to do it moving forward. So last week, Gentry gets off because he gets off with a pass because this man he gets a 0-0 for Gentry. He doesn't have he's kind of there. Yeah, he gets a clean slate to start his NFL season. Klotz was 2-5 last week. Booner was 4-3. I was 5-2. Actually, I was with you. We have the same loss, Klotz. We went with the Browns to beat the Commanders.
I didn't want to do it either.
I know.
I watched it back and I was like, oh no. It's crazy when you watch it back to get the records. I was watching it back, and just the stuff some of us say, like even me with some of my losses, like hyping up the Bills, and the Bills just lose. It's just like, that's embarrassing.
It was a weird week last week too. Like we even said it like during it was just a tough week.
2-5, yeah, very weird week over there. I thought it was a good week. 4-3. I thought majority of the things I thought was going to happen did happen, Klotz.
Hey, watch this.
Technically, you're above 500, so I mean,
the majority of the things I thought.
4-3.
Weird week for you, Klotz.
Well, opportunity to bounce back this week.
Absolutely, 7-0 loaded.
With a new 7-0 from Klotz. He'll jump to first. We'll see how this one goes. We'll start with the first one here. Let me get the music on. All right, first game of the week, fellas. We're going the Jags versus the Bears in London. Ugh.
Ugly game.
Nasty game. There's no home team. They're in London. Where are you guys at with it? Right now, currently, Bears are favored by 1 point. Basically a pick 'em.
I know where this is easy for me. I think in Jeff, let's not get over-exaggerated here, but Caleb Williams has been progressing each week, I think, in London, which will be even more fitting for his production as far as being a worldwide talent. Caleb Williams, I think, has his coming out party this week. I think him, Roman Dunze have a game. Jacksonville's defense right now is absolutely horrible against the pass. They're all right against the run, but if you're the Bears, if you can pass with Roman Dunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, would you rather run with DeAndre Swift when you can throw to him? So I think Caleb Williams has a huge game. Probably has a couple of good plays on the ground as well. I think the Bears win by probably 3 to a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears too. Kind of surprising here. Obviously, it is a London game, so those are kind of weird to bet on. But like you said, Caleb Williams has improved every week, and the Jags defense is terrible. Obviously, their offense started to click a little bit last week, but I'm still not too confident in them playing a good Bears defense. So I'll take the Bears -1 here.
If I know anything looking at the records, it's I'll listen to Klotz. Klotz, I love you.
Take them, Boone.
Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, fun stat for you guys. Trevor Lawrence, 3-1 in London playing football. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the NFL's team that loves to go play in London. I think they might be like 6-5 total in their history of playing in England or over there in London. Trevor Lawrence 3-1. So I do think Jacksonville finally got a win. Maybe Jeff, maybe finally they figured something out. Maybe they were like, all right, we finally got the one in there. Chicago having to travel, all of that, rookie quarterback traveling all the way to London. And you know Caleb, too. He loves his painting nails. He loves his fashion. What is London and all of those places over in Europe known for? Fashion. I bet you right now as we speak, I bet you he's out there shopping and getting fitted for some clothes, not even thinking about football right now. He doesn't care about football. He doesn't know what's going on with football. He hasn't even looked at his scouting report yet. That man's probably in some sort of fashion show walking on a runway right now. Give me Jacksonville. They're probably locked in, ready to go. They know how to prepare for a London game.
Yeah. This one, it's narratives colliding, fellas. Narratives colliding. I'm in quite the predicament. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean with the more experienced quarterback. I'm going to lean with the Jags. I'm going to go with the Jags here. I think it'll be a low-scoring, kind of an uglier game, maybe like a 2017, 21-16, something like that. But I'm going to go in favor of the Jags. They need to start winning games. Bears, they got a big win last week. Up-down theory, going with the Jags this week to beat the Bears in a pretty ugly game, but Jags got a big win last week too.
And no flipping it, but just so you guys know, Brisker is out, and Stevenson, I saw streams only. Stevenson is doubtful, so like their secondary is beat up right now. Beat up. Brian Thomas,
and they're getting Evan Ingram back, so I think it'll be.
I'm starting Brian Thomas in my fantasy league over Chris Olave, just because I think he's going to have a big game.
So next game we got Cardinals visiting the Packers. Packers -5. This is simple. I'm going with the Packers. I think we all probably agree with that. Now the Cardinals, I think, will make this game very interesting. I just think the Packers, where they are right now, they beat the Rams last week. Jordan Love's getting into rhythm, and you have Jaden Reed playing the way he's playing. Yeah, I don't need much explanation. Give me the Packers to win this game at home.
I'll do the same. I'll do the same thing. Give me Green Bay. Went with them last week. Won't go with them this week. I'm just going to keep riding out this Jordan Love thing as he's getting better. Slow improvement, getting back into things. Give me the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, please.
Yeah, same thing with you guys. Jordan Love, Jaden Reed, big game. It continues on. I think those two are one of the best combinations in football, and they will show up at home.
All right, I'm going to stick out. Everyone's taking Green Bay. Give me the Cardinals plus 5.5. I know it's in Green Bay. I think, like Jeff said, I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people expect. Obviously, Jordan Love's starting to heat up and kind of recover from that injury. I still think this will be a lot of passing throughout this game. It seems like Green Bay doesn't really give it to Josh Jacobs too much in the end zone or in the red zone unless they're passing to him for some reason. But I'll take the Cardinals with the points. Give me plus 5.
All right, next game we got the Bucs travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. They're minus 3.5. I think it's to me, this is simple. Saints won't have Derek Carr. Spencer Rattler is starting at QB. First NFL start ever. Bucs tough loss last week. Give me the Bucs to bounce back, and I think they cover minus 3.5.
Yeah, I'm big on the Bucs. I do think New Orleans had a decent. They're on their down slope right now. Not looking great. Things are happening over there in New Orleans, especially now that their quarterback's hurt and they have to go Spencer Rattler. Maybe Spencer Rattler will give them something. I don't see it happening this week. I'm big on this Bucs team, and they should have won last week versus the Falcons. Dropped that game. Baker and these guys always find a way to bounce back. They always do. This defense, Mike Evans. I love this Bucs team. Give me that minus 3.5 as well.
Yeah, give me the Bucs. Big game from Chris Godwin. Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore always seem to have some dramatics going around him. And Chris Godwin, over like the last 4 matchups, has been an absolute target monster. When he only had 5, he had 83 yards and a tutty. So big game between him and Baker. Go put an anytime touchdown in for Chris Godwin, and the Bucs covered.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to agree with this one too. The Saints are just toast. I mean, I'm not too confident in Spencer Rattler. Obviously, these two kind of have a history of playing each other, like you brought up, Mike Evans and whatnot. I think the Bucs coming off that bad loss, they end up covering this 3.5. But I do think Spencer Rattler actually shows some things this game that will kind of keep them confident moving forward in him.
All right, next game we got here, Chargers minus 3 visiting the Broncos. I like the Chargers in this game. Broncos defense is very good. Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh. It is a divisional game. It's going to be very physical. But I think this Chargers team is well coached. And number 2, I think this pass rush for the Chargers, it's going to be a little too much for Bo Nix. So give me the Chargers to get the win. And I think I'm not going to go with cover. Minus 3, Chargers on the road, favored by 3. Give me the Chargers.
You're taking minus 3.5?
I'm going to stay away from it. I'm just picking them outright.
That's not how the game works here, brother.
I literally have not picked a spread today, so I don't know what.
We always take the whole game is the spread here, brother. That's how it works. We don't pick money line. It's spread. It's pick 'em. Have you just this whole time just been thinking it's been money line?
I've done.
Am I the Jeff or
record's
Lucas?
all diluted now?
No, his record. I've counted his record based off spread. You would have been probably 7-0 if we just went money line last week.
Do you remember the NFL pick'em where they do it? People pick teams and pick winners. Do you have to pick spread in the pick'em too?
We always done spread. Yeah, we've always done spread. I mean, we've been doing this for 5 weeks and it's always been like when you just said that, you were like, I'm going to take them. I'm going to take the
Chargers to win, but I picked the Broncos to cover and the Chargers win. I lose.
If it's within 3 points, you pick a team who's going to cover. Are the Chargers going to win by 4 or more, or are the Broncos going to be within 3 points? It's like that. It's pretty simple. I love you, but I did not know you.
My point is, if I pick the Chargers to win and cover, and the Chargers win, but the Broncos cover, that's a loss.
That's a loss.
You just go with the Broncos cover.
Pick the Broncos.
Welcome to the Broncos cover.
It's money. We're picking winners.
We're picking through the spread. We're not like. Dude, we pick games that are like 9. We pick games that are like 9-point favorites. We've you can't burning issue. We've literally gone 5 weeks of doing this. We have done the spread every week. You're on your own little world here.
To be fair, a lot of the spreads are closer this week.
Beginning of the season.
Yeah, look. Well, what are we?
Why would you be giving out the spread? Why do you think in the prep I put the spread? If we just did winners, I wouldn't put the spread. And before every game, you give out the spread. All right, Tampa Bay is minus 3.5 point favorites. Which way are you guys going? We're talking about the spread, brother.
Oh.
This is like a very, very well-known thing.
Yeah,
for the
this
last
is
5
weird.
weeks.
I mean, I picked the Packers to win, and no one said anything. I didn't even say a spread.
Because they're minus. You said a spread. You said minus 5.5.
You did say the spread on all your answers, so I just assumed.
I did it because honestly, I guess I'll go.
Rewatch.
I guess I'll go Cardinals to
go backtrack.
I guess, or no, I just go with the Packers.
Either way, Chargers minus 3 or not, Jeff. What the hell?
Yeah,
give us an answer.
Cover then. I'm counting this as a win if they win. By the way,
no, I do the record, so no, I will not be counted as a win if they lose or if they only win by 3 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, that is. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, you're gonna put up his comment. You put up coaches. Thought we were just.
I mean, you can put up coaches, but like you're like it's a 3-1 thing on the show. We're in week 5. We've literally like if coach just wants to agree with
no
you,
sense.
we have.
I lose if I pick the correct team, basically.
Oh my gosh, dude! I can't believe this
if
guy
you get the spread wrong. Yes, you do lose.
Unbelievable.
That is
this is where you're getting confused, Jeff. You're involving money line when I never. You need to.
It's picking winners.
Pick the team that
No, it's not, dude. We have been literally doing this for 5 weeks the same way.
And exactly. I know.
Good teams win, Jeff. Great teams cover.
Unc, you have to step in. This is crazy.
No, this is dumb. I'm going to be honest, guys.
Yeah,
you guys
have been doing it. There must have been some confusion, obviously.
You're telling me
you took the Chargers minus 3. You took the Chargers minus 3, so we move on. So who's next?
I'm taking Denver. I think it's going to just be a close game. I want to take the Chargers. I'm kind of with Jeff to his point. I think the Chargers win. I just think it's like by a field goal. That's all. I think they win on a game-winning field goal. Denver's defense has been very good. They have a great Denver's been way better than people have expected, and it's because of their defense, really. And if their offense gets anything going, I think they're going to be just fine in this game. So I'm taking Denver plus 3.5.
I'm right with you, Boone. I think it's going to be an ugly game. Denver's defense very good. Justin Herbert banged up. Got Quinshon Johnson, or I always do that. Quentin Johnson on the outside with rookie lad McConkey. Riley Moss, boys. I don't know if you saw that. 22 years since a Caucasian cornerback has got an interception. It happened last week. Things are going good in Denver. I think they're not going to win, but they won't get blown out. Chargers went off a Cameron Dicker field goal.
Honestly, I'm taking the Chargers minus 3. I think this game still will be close throughout the way. Denver's defense is starting to look a little better. I just don't know how confident I am in Bo Nix. I think the coaching battle here is ultimately what is going to help the Chargers out in this. Give me the Chargers minus 3.
All right. I hate this, by the way. This is dumb.
I mean, dude, this might be one of the most all-time worst things I've ever seen.
And it's weird. All the chat's with me.
No, they're not. It's literally just Coach Walken and ETN.
Burning issues.
It's crazy. The only two people with wrenches are like, yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. Everyone else is like, no, yeah, it's been spreads for 5 weeks.
That is what a pick 'em is, but it's not a big deal. So next one on the list, Steelers minus 3, Jeff. I don't even know who they're playing.
Now let's get through this because we have to do college football. It's the best college football slate of the year.
Steelers at Raiders, and they are favored by 3 points. You taking the points, Jeff?
If
this isn't no money line.
Steelers,
oh my gosh, bro! I'm about to just take you out of that show.
If Steelers win by 3,
it's a push.
So I win?
It's a push. That means you don't win.
This is the dumbest thing in the history of fucking picks. So I'm picking the Steelers.
Oh my
and
gosh,
I'm cover that.
I feel like I'm trying to talk to an old head about an iPhone right now, explaining to him how the App Store works.
This is not like you're making this such a big deal. Like this is crazy, dude. I'm so shocked right now.
Wow, it's just crazy to think I could lose.
There's just people in the chat saying
spread,
I'm with Jeff just to stay there with Jeff. We have literally had conversations off air. This is the spread.
I could pick everyone correct. But if the spreads are wrong, I lose every game. That's wild.
Correct.
We did this last year.
We've connected the dots.
What's crazy is we did this last year on the pregame show every single week. at our old place. We did pick'ems, and it was spreads last year. Like, we literally went 17 weeks last year. Like, this is one of the most ridiculous. Like, this man, his whole life never even thought about a spread. You can literally put up anyone's comments, Jeff. It's 3-1 on this show right now. There is nothing that can.
Okay.
So you're telling me if the Rangers lose by 3 or less,
I'll take the cover.
Man, who are you taking?
Steelers -3. What do you think on that?
Steelers to win and
by 3 points.
They cover.
Are they covering the 3 points?
There we go. We go.
And push. We'll do both.
I'm taking the Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers.
This guy's trolling.
What are you guys taking? We've got a whole college football slate to get through. We can't miss that.
But I will take the Steelers -3. The Raiders are terrible. I don't care if Devontae ends up coming back. It doesn't matter. Steelers defense. I'll take Justin Fields. He'll go have a game.
Where is it at, Boone?
It's in Las Vegas.
It's in Las Vegas.
Give me the Steelers. I don't like it though.
All right, what's the next game here?
The next one,
dude. Yes, we all know the cover. When we give a pick out, we all know we're doing the cover. Next one, Bengals -4 at the New York Jets. Jeff, who are you taking?
So okay, this I'm gonna. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess at this point, I'm gonna go with the where is it at? Is it in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Jets to win this game.
It's the Giants.
Oh,
you said Jets.
That's on me then. That's on me. The Giants. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's on me then. I take full responsibility if I said the Jets.
Okay, then give me the Bengals to win this game. What's the spread?
-4.
Malik Neighbors is out.
Yeah.
Klotz, you're taking.
Yeah,
I don't think this is that hard, Jeff. I think you're overthinking this one.
I could see them having a close game. So now I'm double thinking everything now.
Who are you taking, Gentry?
I'm taking the Bengals -4. Giants are terrible.
I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah.
You still picking over the Bengals?
I mean, this guy, I've never seen someone more shook in their life. Like this, for the last 10 minutes, he's just been going, oh.
Booner, do you want me to read the college football ones?
Yeah, you take the college football ones. There's some really good games too. I'm pumped for this one.
All right, starting off, we're going to go with Texas at Oklahoma. Texas is favored by 14.5.
I already gave this out of my best bets. I'm taking Texas. I think when I put this in the prep earlier, it was 14.5, and then a couple hours later, I did my best bets, and it was at 15. But let's just do 14.5 for the people.
What say you, Lucas?
I agree. I think Texas, like Oklahoma, sucks on offense. They have no chance of scoring more than probably 3 touchdowns. So I see Texas scoring at least 35. So give me Texas to cover.
Yeah. I mean, Texas is going to win this thing outright. So, no. So go.
Brad, do they win by 14.5 though, Jeff?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do.
All right, I agree. Texas is going to win by 14.5. The next one we have is Penn State at USC. Penn State to cover 3.5.
I don't know where you guys are at with this. I don't think USC's. I can't believe it's only 3.5. I was shocked. I thought it'd be like a 7.5, 10.5. Give me Penn State. I feel like that's a steal. 3.5. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, if USC struggled the way they did against Michigan in that running offense, Penn State's going to run all over the ball, all over the ground, and Drew Allen obviously a much better upgrade than Alex Orji. And who did they have thrown that game? Gentry and Boone.
Tuttle.
Was it Tuttle? Either way,
yeah.
Upgrade. Give me Penn State to win and cover.
Yeah, I also agree. Jeff's guy, Drew Aller, they're going to cover the 3.5. I'm not too confident in USC at all. Obviously, they have some pieces on offense, but just overall as a team, not too confident in them. And I know we say this like every year, Penn State's playing so well, but I just don't think USC is that good. And obviously it is early on in the year, but I'll take Penn State -3.5.
Yeah, I'm with the people. I'm going to go USC. It's an East Coast team traveling out West Coast. Big Ten, this is new in the Big Ten. Teams traveling across the country. Give me USC at home to win that game.
Wow, so you're off Drew Aller.
Sure. Yeah, that's what
We'll
I
let
said.
him know. We'll let him know.
Crazy. Officially off the Drew Aller bandwagon.
Yeah, give me USC to win. I think traveling, I think it's going to have more of effect. It has more effect on college athletes, I think, than pros stuff. So give me USC.
All right, next game, Florida at number 8, Tennessee. Tennessee is favored minus 15. Tennessee's got to win by 16.
Can I give my pick?
Give it.
I don't even care how good or bad Florida is. Tennessee, they've been in some games. Give me Florida. What is it? 15?
Yep.
Give me Florida plus 15. I'll take it.
No. I think with Tennessee, how they lost last week, how bad Florida is, I don't see a world where Tennessee doesn't cover in this game. I don't. If Miami blew out Florida the way that they did, I think Tennessee could win by 16 plus.
Klotz, I'll before the next people, I'll tell you this. Last week when I rewatched the show and our picks, there was a lot of times where you were like, this team played a bad game. They're going to
it was like upset,
and it didn't happen once.
Vanderbilt beat Alabama. It was like upset galore last week. I took them Michigan to be able to cover. No, I don't think I did. I think that hit for me. We all hit. We all lose, Boone. You do the same.
I'm warning you. I'm just like, hey, this is how it worked out. You know,
I got it. Give you when I got locks, I feel like it locks. I got locks.
All right. I'll take Tennessee minus 15 too. I don't think Florida's that good of a football team. What say you, Jeff?
I think Tennessee's a good football team. They have a lot of close games. I think Tennessee wins, but I can see Florida covering. I'll just go Tennessee wins and covers. Fuck it. I'll just go with the winner.
All right. Now we're going to Lucas's team, Ohio State minus 3 at Oregon.
Klotz, you lead off.
Oregon wins this football game, boys. Oregon does. I think Oregon finds a way to win it. I don't want to say it, but I just think at home in Eugene, these teams are going to face again. They're going to split. I've said it since the beginning of the year. It's going to be a loss that's upsetting because there's a lot of stakes there. But I just think this is going to be kind of like Ohio State's riding a kind of a high horse. Oregon's been in some games that are tough, but this is Ohio State's first real opponent. I think they struggle a little bit with all the chemistry issues they got going on right now. I understand Oregon's kind of the same boat, but I think at home, they're kind of the underdog and they still have a lot of talent. Give me Oregon to win.
To be honest, I'm gonna go OSU minus 3 here. I know they are going in, and Lucas, you brought up a lot of good points here. I just think the offense for Ohio State is going to be hard to contain. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game, and then OSU ultimately pulls it out in the end and covers by that 3 points.
I'll go Oregon. I originally had Ohio State written down. I did pick Oregon to win the Big Ten, so I'm just going to stick with my narrative. I'm just going to go Oregon plus 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Ohio State. I think they get. I just think, in terms of controlling the game at the line of scrimmage, I think Ohio State's going to do a better job of that, and I think that's where the game's going to be run. So won. So give me Ohio State to win this game.
All right, we got 2 more left.
And cover.
There you go.
And cover.
There you go, Jeff. All right, one of the last ones, we got number 9, Ole Miss minus 3.5 at number 13, LSU.
Give me Ole Miss minus 3.5.
Yeah, give me Jackson Dart and the Dogs. Bro tried to get attempted murder celebration on him last week. He probably woke up a demon in him. Jackson Dart's gonna be a man on a mission. Not a big Brian Kelly fan either.
That's a very fair point. Ole Miss, one of my favorite teams. I was probably going to bet this either way. I like the low spread against their high-powered offense, so I'll take Ole Miss as well. Jeff?
Yeah, I'll go Ole Miss. I think they win this game and cover. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'll give the edge to the better quarterback. Lane Kiffin, he always drops one of these games randomly, so I don't know if it's this one, but I'm going to still ride with Ole Miss, so I'll take him.
All right, and last but not least, we go out to Colorado with Coach Prime. Kansas State is going in there. They are favored by 3.5 points. I think I'm going to take Colorado plus 3.5 here. I don't know about you boys. I'm rooting for Coach Prime and the boys.
No, give me Kansas State. I think their offense, I can't think of their quarterback's name off the top of my head, but he's been on a mission. He's a great dual threat quarterback. I think he's going to cause problems for Colorado's defense. Kansas State's defense is a little shaky, but I think in totality, Kansas State's just a better team on both sides of the ball, and they win by more than that.
Yeah, give me Colorado. I think Colorado, they're underdogs at home. I like it, the way they're playing. They find ways. I mean, their win against they had a win. Who was that against? The big win they had in the Big 12. They just beat this team like 2 weeks ago. Who was it? Or last week? UCF. They think they beat. But they controlled the game at the line of scrimmage, which is something they haven't done prior. So I'm going to go with Colorado here. Give me another big win, especially at home for Colorado.
Don't even need to win, Jeff. Just need to cover.
Just got to cover. Give me Colorado too.
Boone, what say you about Colorado? This is last
Colorado.
pick.
If you guys can hear me, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Colorado.
All right, Boone. Well, all right, that's it. That's the picks.
All right, good stuff.
Who did you pick? Colorado?
Yes, I did.
All right, did you pick Tennessee as well?
Yes, I did.
And then, Jeff, did you pick Ole Miss?
Yes.
All right, I just had to make sure those were the only ones I didn't get. All right, I've got them all. We're good. I'm back. We're good.
All right. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Tigers play. Of course, let me get this so we can. Okay. Tigers play tomorrow. We'll catch you guys then. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always.
Should be live probably for the game, maybe potentially at 1 o'clock.
Yep. So stick around Sunday. We'll have our Sunday programming as usual. So I'll see you guys there. Watch party, pregame show, postgame show, all that and more. Until then, we'll catch you guys. Have a safe weekend. See ya.
Peace.